Chapter 2365. The sword light grew larger in the fierce eyes, and the space was bound. My life is over. The aura of death grew in its heart. At this moment, the distant sky flame phoenix felt the aura of death. It was filled with despair and hatred. This was an unexpected disaster for it. It had obtained a great opportunity and cultivated in seclusion for 10,000 years. Who knew that it would meet with such a calamity when it was about to succeed? Chi-la, the sword light broke through the air as if it had cut the void in half. A pitch-black spatial crack appeared in the heart of the void and appeared in the sky. A deep abyss appeared on the ground below, and the huge body of the distant sky flame phoenix was cut in half. Blood rained down and bones fell, causing the earth to shake. Gugu. Seeing this scene, the demonic ape was dumbfounded. He swallowed hard. A demonic sky flame phoenix at the peak of the late stage of the Saint Beast realm was killed just like that. This was not a defeat, but a direct killing. The distant sky flame phoenix's body was killed, and the beast's soul shrieked. At this moment, it was greatly affected and was completely suppressed by Du Xiaofu's redbone horse monkey primordial spirit. Chi-la, space became resplendent. Lightning interweaved in an incomparably dazzling manner. Lightning rippled from the scarlet demonic horse monkey's yuan spirit, causing one's heart to involuntarily palpitate. Devouring a wisp of the heavenly flame phoenix's soul was like spinning silk from a cocoon as it continued to devour. The distant sky flame phoenix's primordial spirit struggled violently, but it was already an arrow at the end of its flight, and all its struggles were useless. Below the abyss, lightning flashed and thunder rumbled. The earth trembled, and a terrifying aura rose from the abyss, spreading in the air. Under such a shocking commotion, Ouyang Shuang, Dai Xingyu, and the demonic ape could only retreat far away. But at this moment, the Azure Luan had unknowingly walked towards the enormous corpse of the primeval Azure Luan. Strands of azure-colored flames involuntarily effused out from within its body, and talisman markings interweaved to transform into the image of an Azure Luan. Ancestor of my race. In front of the immemorial Blue Luan's corpse, the Blue Luan bowed respectfully. Boom, the earth was shaking. Inside the huge immemorial Azure Luan corpse, a green brilliance filled the air and rushed into the sky, shaking the void. The huge corpse seemed to have suddenly come to life, with green flames overflowing. This kind of aura was far more vast than the aura of the distant sky flame phoenix, causing Du Xiaofu's eyes to change color, and he became cautious and vigilant. Walala, the green radiance was like a divine radiance that filled the air. A sparkling and translucent ray of light pierced through the air and entered between Qing Luan's eyebrows. At the same time, the space in the surroundings shook, and the cry of a bird resounded as if it came from the primordial times. Space fluctuated as a dazzling Azure Luan appeared, and its azure divine radiance was like azure flames that drowned space. This Azure Luan phantom was too shocking. It was as though it had traversed through time and space, causing spatial fluctuations. It was capable of incinerating this world into nothingness. Even Du Xiaofu's redbone horse monkey Yuan Shun felt apprehensive. This Azure Luan phantom was clearly not something that the current Azure Luan could compare to. It was like the ruler of all Luans. This is an immemorial Azure Luan expert, a pure-blooded ancestor of the Azure Luan clan. The nightmare ape's cultivation at the peak of the initial stage of the Saint Beast realm was trembling. Its body was about to kneel down, and its beast soul was trembling. A cry resounded. When the Azure Luan phantom appeared, Azure Luan Little Qing's entire body glowed. In the next moment, its slightly immature and graceful figure also instantly transformed into its original form. It flapped its wings and filled the air with pressure, resonating with the immemorial Azure Luan phantom. In the sky, the enormous immemorial green Luan's shadow overlapped with the green Luan Little Qing and transformed into a bright green divine light. It was as if a green divine radiance had traversed through space and time, gradually causing the green Luan Little Qing's enormous eyes to seem as if they contained two vast green seas of fire. A terrifying, strange, and complicated pressure descended from its body into the world. The void began to become chaotic. Ancient talisman runes appeared, and a blazing aura fluctuated. Then, under the trembling gazes of Du Xiaofu, Ouyang Shuang, Dai Xingyu, and the nightmare ape, everything disappeared. The huge immemorial Azure Luan corpse and Azure Luan Little Qing's original body had all disappeared, as if they had vanished into thin air. What's going on? Du Xiaofu's expression changed. He did not notice at all, nor was he able to stop it. Azure Luan Little Qing had already disappeared. Xiaofu, there's no need to worry. I think Little Qing must have obtained a great opportunity. The immemorial Azure Luan expert's body still had energy remaining, and took the initiative to set up a nirvana space. Dai Xingyu's eyes moved. After a moment of nervousness, joy appeared in her eyes. She had guessed the situation and was happy for Little Qing. To her, Little Qing had grown up with her since she was young, and they had cultivated together in front of their master. They were like sisters, and even closer than biological sisters. I didn't expect that this little girl really obtained a great opportunity. Du Xiaofu pondered. His thoughts were similar to Dai Xingyu's. He felt that the immemorial Azure Luan expert's corpse did not seem to have any evil intentions. It must have chosen Little Qing and wanted to leave behind its inheritance. That immemorial Azure Luan expert was a true pure-blooded phoenix. How shocking would its inheritance be? Du Xiaofu pondered in his heart. After Little Qing completely obtained the inheritance, it would definitely shock the world. However, he did not know when Little Qing would come out. This made Du Xiaofu somewhat worried, and he frowned inwardly. Walala! The demonic flame phoenix's beast soul was truly too powerful. The scarlet nightmare monkey's primordial spirit was still devouring it. It would probably take some time before it could completely devour it. Moreover, this was only devouring, and it had not been completely refined yet. Du Xiaofu did not stay idle either. The demonic flame phoenix's corpse was still there, and the secret bone in its body was a great treasure. Putting away the golden pring wings and the azure spirit armor, Du Xiaofu landed on the ground and dug out the demonic flame phoenix's secret bone from the corpse. Du Xiaofu waited for his primordial spirit to devour the demonic flame phoenix's beast soul. He sat down cross-legged and began to comprehend the secret bone. The demonic flame phoenix was also a branch of the phoenix race. It had the bloodline of the phoenix race. Du Xiaofu was not unfamiliar with the phoenix race. He had already comprehended the supreme beast ability of the purple flame demonic phoenix race. He also had the blood essence left behind by Zixian. Comprehending the demonic flame phoenix's secret bone was not a big problem for him. Dai Xingyu and Ouyang Shuang looked at each other and smiled helplessly. That guy was really a cultivation maniac. He still wanted to comprehend the secret bone in such a short period of time. However, Ouyang Shuang was very clear that it was precisely because of this that the purple-robed youth could grow to his current level in such a short period of time. He had put in more effort than others. In the dark void, a dozen figures broke through the void and landed on the abyss. The aura of these people was not ordinary. The weakest among them was at the domain realm. Those who could enter the burial dead ground naturally had to be at the domain realm. Otherwise, they would be courting death. What a terrifying aura. There must be a treasure down there. Maybe there is an Archean inheritance. The dozen figures landed on the abyss. Their eyes immediately focused on the aura that soared into the sky from the abyss. Many people were surprised to hear the sound of thunder and lightning. Such a big commotion. It must be different. There will be a big harvest. An old man leading the group looked into the abyss. His eyes were burning with anticipation. The treasures that appeared in the burial dead ground were extremely precious. Moreover, such a big commotion was already extraordinary. There seems to be the aura of the Phoenix clan. Maybe there is the true Phoenix blood essence. A middle-aged man said. He couldn't help but tremble. It's all because of that rock emperor. Our Yu clan suffered a great loss. We lost a Saint Realm expert. Even a sovereign like Yu Ming was killed. If we can get the true Phoenix blood essence, we will be able to nurture a younger generation that is stronger than Yu Ming, the old man leading the group said. Yu clan had suffered a great loss this time. I don't know if that rock emperor is dead or alive. Rumor has it that someone saw that little bastard fighting with Lei Yang. In the end, he escaped with injuries. I don't know if it's true or not. An expert from Yu Clan said. Yu Clan could have shone brightly in the conference, but everything was because of that Rock Emperor. Yu Clan suffered a great loss. That brat is most likely dead. Even if he's not dead, many experts from the Beast Alliance will not let him go. Moreover, the danger inside is enough to kill him. In short, even if that brat is not dead, he won't be able to live for long, the old man leading the group said. He was Yu Jigong. He was well-dressed and looked like he was in his 50s. Let's go down and take a look. We don't want to attract other people. Beside Yu Jigong was an old man with long white eyebrows. His face was ruddy, but there was no smile on his face at the moment. He was dressed in a gray patterned robe and had an extraordinary aura. This old man was none other than Yu Clan's half-saint realm expert, Yutenza. Everyone be careful. If we attract other people, it won't be easy for us to get a great treasure by ourselves if it appears. Yu Jigong said, reminding everyone to be careful. He looked at the commotion in the abyss and was secretly delighted. Such a big commotion was definitely unusual. They might be able to strike it big this time. The dozen experts from Yu Clan were not careless. They jumped into the abyss one by one. They were excited and expectant. They didn't know what kind of great harvest they would find in the abyss. If there was an archaic sacred artifact, the inheritance of an archaic expert, and the true phoenix blood essence, they would be completely rich. The more the Yu family's experts descended, the more intense the monstrous aura fluctuations they emitted became. Everyone's anticipation grew, and their gazes became even more fervent. Below the abyss, Du Xiaofu sat cross-legged, comprehending the distant sky flame phoenix's bones. The scarlet horse monkey's soul was almost done devouring the distant sky flame phoenix's soul. Ouyang Shuang and Dai Xingyu could only wait quietly on the side. Someone's coming down. It's a human. Zhong Yuan suddenly looked above the abyss and reminded Ouyang Shuang and Dai Xingyu. Not long after, under the gazes of Zhong Yuan, Ouyang Shuang, and Dai Xingyu, a dozen figures slowly descended from above the abyss. What's that? Yu Jigong and Yu Tianzi hadn't completely landed when they saw the astonishing body of the scarlet horse monkey, the distant sky flame phoenix's soul, and the huge corpse of the distant sky flame phoenix, dripping with blood. It's the Rock Emperor. Not good. Yu Tianzi, Yu Jigong, and the rest of the Yu Clan experts paled at the sight of the scarlet horse monkey's body. They had all been present at the sacred hall. How could they forget the shocking scene? Not good. The Rock Emperor is still alive. The Yu Clan experts trembled. They had all seen with their own eyes how ordinary true saints were nothing in front of that guy. How could they possibly be a match for him? Yu Jigong and Yu Tianzi, who were in the lead, made a prompt decision. They didn't even see Du Xiaofu in person before fleeing. They knew that the Rock Emperor wouldn't let them go. It seems that he has a grudge with Master. It won't be too late to leave after we figure it out. Just as Yu Jigong and Yu Tianzi turned to flee, a well-built figure appeared in the sky like a ghost. His eyes were bright and filled with ferocious might. No one dared to look at him directly. His aura sealed the void. Yu Tianzi didn't hesitate at all. The great Rock Emperor was still alive, and he was still here. They could only use their fastest speed to escape. With a wave of his hand, a majestic stream of energy gathered. The mysterious runes on the talisman shone resplendently, like the fluctuations of the sun. It carried a majestic attack, and ruthlessly slammed towards the demonic ape. Puny half-step true saints, you're courting death. Meng Yuan's eyes were fierce and dignified. He did not take Yu Tianzi's energy seriously at all. Instead of retreating, he waved his hand and threw out a punch. With an extremely violent energy, it instantly smashed down. Boom! When the two collided, the void rumbled. Yu Tianzi's energy stream directly shattered inch by inch. As the terrifying force swept out, it was as if a violent storm swept out in the surrounding space, shaking the surrounding space as if the mountains were collapsing and the earth was cracking. Poochie! In an instant, Yu Tianzi spat out a mouthful of blood. His body suddenly smashed down from the sky. His eyes were filled with shock. Swish! However, when Yu Tianzi's body was still falling, the dark ape's figure had already appeared in front of him like a ghost. He waved his claws and twisted the void. A vast force gushed out and suppressed Yu Tianzi's restriction in an instant. Saint Beast Realm. Yu Tianzi's expression changed. The dark ape in front of him was a Saint Beast Realm expert. He came down to look for treasures, but he didn't expect that the rock emperor he was most worried about was here. There was even a Saint Beast Realm expert here. Elder. In an instant, Yu Jigong's expression changed. Yu Tianzi, a half-saint, was heavily injured and suppressed in one move. This Saint Beast Realm expert was too powerful. It seems like he's an enemy and not a friend. Ouyang Shuang and Dai Xingyu's eyes swept across the Yu clan. They didn't care too much. They were enough to deal with this little strength. Who are you? Looking at the dark ape in front of him, Yu Tianzi felt an inexplicable chill in his heart. His body began to tremble. You don't even know me? Remember, I'm your grandpa Dark Ape. The dark ape raised his eyebrows. He was a bit annoyed that this guy didn't know him. Dark Ape. Yu Tianzi and Yu Jigong's expressions changed. How could they not have heard of the dark ape? He was a terrifying beast. Back then, Lu Limo had been seriously injured by him. In the end, she was brought back by the divine ancestor and Yu Ming. They hadn't thought that they would see the legendary ferocious ape here. "You clan," said a calm voice. After that, Du Xiaofu woke up and appeared in front of Yu Jigong and the others. Rock Emperor. Yu Tianzi, Yu Jigong, and the other members of the Yu clan trembled uncontrollably when they saw the tall and straight figure clad in purple robes and that familiar face. "Kid, what do you want? Our imperial ancestor is here. If you dare touch us, we won't let you go," said Yu Jigong through gritted teeth. His body was trembling. From his initial disdain to now, he knew very well that this young man was a heaven-defying monster. He had left his name in the divine temple and was destined to shock the world. He was far from being a match for Yu Jigong. "You still dare to threaten me? Then all of you can die." Du Xiaofu's clear eyes flashed with killing intent. The Yu clan had become enemies. Now that they met again, and the other party didn't seem to have any intention of letting them go. How could he let them go? Boom! The hand seal was formed and bright red flames surged out. The bright red flames churned and a distant heavenly flame phoenix illusory figure appeared in front of Du Xiaofu. Monstrous bright red flames swept out from within like a storm. It was accompanied by a monstrous hot aura as it charged towards the heavens. Goo! Goo! The cry was like the cry of a phoenix. The enormous shadow of the distant sky flame phoenix flapped its wings and soared into the sky. The mysterious runes of the talisman enveloped the void. The surroundings were like a sea of flames, and an indescribable heat and pressure pressed down on the sky. This was the beast energy of the heavenly flame phoenix clan. The image's fierce eyes surged with scarlet light, and its killing intent soared to the sky. It was as if two volcanoes were erupting. It spread its wings and covered the void. A terrifying crushing force shattered the void and swept down with rolling lava. A monstrous aura spread out wildly. Bang bang bang. Led by Yu Jigong, dozens of Yu clan experts exploded into bloody mist one after another. They were burned into nothingness by the high temperature. No one could escape, not even their primordial spirits. "Little bastard, our Yu clan won't let you go." Yu Tianzi, who was restrained by the demonic ape, was shocked. He finally understood why this kid claimed to be the Demon King. Another dozen or so experts of the Yu clan had been killed. The Yu clan could not bear such a heavy loss. "Shut up!" The demonic ape scolded. How could he tolerate Yu Tianzi's disrespect to his master? He slapped his big mouth on Yu Tianzi's mouth, and blood and teeth spurted out of Yu Tianzi's mouth. It was a miserable sight. Swish! The heavenly flame phoenix was finally devoured. The demonic ape's primordial spirit turned into a bright silver gold light and returned to Du Xiaofu's forehead. How many people did the Yu clan send to the burial dead ground? Du Xiaofu asked Yu Tianzi. He didn't know how many people the Yu clan had sent to the burial dead ground. He also didn't know how many people the Yu clan had sent to the burial dead ground. They were also quite afraid of the imperial ancestor of the Yu clan. Little bastard, you won't know. Anyway, our Yu clan won't let you go. Yu Tianzi stared at Du Xiaofu. His voice was cold, but the fear in his eyes couldn't be concealed. It's fine if you don't tell me. I can find out myself. Yes. Du Xiaofu smiled coldly. He didn't say anything else. Light surged from his fingertips as he bent his fingers into a claw. Then, strange runes surrounded them as they landed on Yu Tianzi's head. A vast primordial spirit aura descended, causing people's hearts to palpitate. Yu Tianzi wanted to struggle, but he was suppressed to the point that he couldn't move. As the claw landed, his eyes began to turn white and his pupils contracted. His entire body began to twitch. In just a few moments, Yu Tianzi began to scream. His pupils dilated and white foam flowed out of his mouth. It was as if he was suffering the most terrible torture. When Du Xiaofu retracted his claw, it was already a few moments later. Yu Tianzi, who was on the verge of death, had been crushed in his palm. Du Xiaofu used the soul-searching art. With Du Xiaofu's current cultivation, especially the strength of his primordial spirit, it was easy for him to search for Yu Tianzi's primordial spirit. Du Xiaofu's eyes widened. He had learned from Yu Tianzi's primordial spirit that the Yu clan's foundation was really deep. There were other saints in the Heaven Burial Death Trap, and they weren't ordinary saints. What shocked Du Xiaofu even more was that he learned from Yu Tianzi's primordial spirit that the Yu clan seemed to be plotting something against the Divine Temple. They had even joined forces with other clans and factions. However, even Yu Tianzi didn't know the details. Are you all right? Yangshuang quietly watched everything that had happened. She wasn't surprised at all. She was a little worried when she saw Du Xiaofu in a daze. I'm fine. Du Xiaofu came back to his senses and didn't think about it anymore. He took a deep breath and smiled. The heavenly flame phoenix's energy that the scarlet horse monkey's primordial spirit had devoured was too great. He needed to refine it in time. Otherwise, it wouldn't be a good thing. However, once his primordial spirit completely refined the heavenly flame phoenix's energy, his primordial spirit's strength would definitely reach a new level. This made Du Xiaofu feel pretty good. While his heart was filled with joy, Du Xiaofu's mind commanded, and the body of the Crimson Horse Monkey's soul core sat cross-legged on the 9 Revolutions Divine Thunder Lotus before condensing seals to refine and absorb the vast and vigorous beast souls that had devoured it. The commotion just now will probably attract others, said Yangshuang. She had already attracted these people. Let's go first. Once little Qing obtains the inheritance, she should be able to find us. Du Xiaofu said. The Qing Luan and little Qing should be very safe in the Nirvana space. He didn't know when they would be able to come out. This wasn't a place to stay for long. What about the corpse? Asked Dai Xingyu. He looked at the gigantic corpse of the heavenly flame phoenix. He hadn't eaten barbecued meat for a long time. Du Xiaofu was startled. That was the corpse of a late saint beast. It would be extremely valuable if it was cooked. However, the Qianquan bag couldn't store such a gigantic corpse. It would be a pity if it was wasted. I forgot about it. Du Xiaofu smiled. He couldn't store the heavenly flame phoenix's corpse in his Qianquan bag. However, he could still use the ancient desolate space. The ancient desolate space wasn't ordinary. After that, Du Xiaofu put the heavenly flame phoenix's corpse into the ancient desolate space and left. A few silhouettes then disappeared into the abyss. Chapter 2366. Above the abyss, it was still dusky. There was no place to go. After asking for Zhong Yuan's opinion, several figures turned into streams of light and disappeared into the abyss. The mountain range was continuous and the space was dark. A huge mountain peak stood tall like a dragon with its head held high, emitting a vast and majestic aura. Swoosh swoosh, Du Xiaofu, Yangshuang, Dai Xingyu, and Zhong Yuan appeared before the mountain peak. Although they had some small gains along the way, they did not have any big gains. There seems to be some movement ahead. Du Xiaofu looked ahead and frowned slightly. Light flashed under his feet and Zhong Yuan, Yangshuang, and the others followed behind. the four figures disappeared from the spot again. In a huge valley, there was a huge cave abode on a cliff. An ancient longsword floated in the air and majestic energy emanated from it. The light was dazzling and intertwined. At this moment, there were many figures around the valley who were looking at the ancient longsword with burning eyes. The ancient aura and pressure that emanated from it were enough to prove that it was an Archean saint weapon. There might even be an Archean inheritance in it. These auras were vast and they were all from the Beast clan. However, at this moment, the ones closest to the ancient longsword were 5 figures. Their clothes were rather simple. There were 3 old men and 1 old woman. The leader was a woman with skin whiter than snow. Her beautiful eyes were dazzling. As she looked around, she had an elegant and noble temperament. This young woman was Zhou Xiaoluo. She had followed the experts of the School of Agriculture into the Sky Burial Wasteland and had some gains. However, she had also encountered many dangerous situations and lost several experts. She had discovered the Archean saint weapon but had encountered the experts of the Beast Alliance in the wasteland. Zhou Xiaoluo's expression turned serious when she sensed the aura of the experts of the Beast Alliance. They had not been with any Saint Realm cultivators. Among the experts of the Beast Alliance, there were at least 2 whose auras were comparable to the Saint Realm. They should have reached the half-Saint Realm and were not people that they could fight against. How dare a few humans lay their hands on the Archean saint weapon? Go to hell. A black-robed old man smiled sinisterly. It was just 5 humans. He could just kill them directly. Boom. As the black-robed old man shouted, many figures turned into rays of light and charged towards Zhou Xiaoluo and the others. Xiaoluo, you go first. An old man in his 70s opened his mouth. He was dressed plainly with his trousers rolled up, as if he had just come from a farm. Although his aura was powerful, it seemed insufficient at this moment. If Du Xiaofu was here, he would definitely be able to recognize that this old man was Old Man Di Pai of the farm. Boom! A great battle broke out in an instant. In the blink of an eye, the Meridian Spirit and the Martial Meridians swept out. The aura was vast and shocking. Awoo! Within the Beast Alliance, there were demonic beasts roaring. There was a 4-winged demonic snake. The body of the sinister lightning demonic snake appeared in the sky with a terrifying aura. Boom! Zhou Xiaoluo unleashed her full strength and used her Nirvana sovereign strength. An incomparably powerful aura immediately spread out in all directions. He's actually a supreme being. I can take him as a battle servant. The black-robed old man stared at Zhou Xiaoluo with a cold look in his eyes. He appeared in front of Zhou Xiaoluo in the blink of an eye and sent out a finger imprint at lightning speed. Swoosh! Zhou Xiaoluo's expression changed. A resplendent palm imprint accompanied by the Nirvana sovereign strength clashed with the black-robed old man's finger imprint. There wasn't much sound of energy clashing, but the surrounding rocks cracked. Zhou Xiaoluo's delicate body was immediately pushed back. With her cultivation and strength, she was unable to deal with this sage-to-be expert in front of her. Not bad, human. This is an unexpected gain. The black-robed old man took advantage of the situation and pounced towards Zhou Xiaoluo again. It would be a good choice to take such a young supreme being as a battle servant. Zhou Xiaoluo unleashed her full strength. A set of dazzling armor was placed on her body. The mysterious runes on the talisman were fluctuating, and the pressure of the martial veins spread out. She used all her strength to fight with the black-robed old man. Bang! Bang! Deep sonic booms suddenly resounded. Old Man Di Pai and the other 3 had already been surrounded by more than 10 4-winged demonic snakes and sinister lightning demonic snakes. They instantly clashed with each other, and the energy swept across the sky. The resplendent talisman was shattered, and 2 of them were injured as soon as they exchanged blows. Xiaoluo, you go first. Old Man Di Pai said. Nothing must happen to the strongest young man in the farm. No one will be able to leave. A gray-robed old man appeared. Dazzling light filled the sky. He did not hide his half-saint level cultivation. Lightning filled the air, and a claw swept out. It was as if there was a shocking 4-winged demonic snake shadow pouncing out, suppressing Old Man Di Pai. Puff! Zhou Xiaoluo's delicate body was pushed back, and a trace of blood flowed out from her red lips. It was difficult for her to fight against a half-saint level cultivator. Stop resisting. The black-robed old man appeared in front of Zhou Xiaoluo in a flash. The aura of a half-saint level cultivation was fully released. The air trembled, and a claw tore through the space. It carried with it a cold and resplendent talisman that dyed the space cold. The claw suddenly collapsed and pressed towards Zhou Xiaoluo. Zhou Xiaoluo's eyes were serious. She retreated with all her strength, but the space under the claw was completely frozen. She resisted with all her strength, but it was not effective. She could not break free. Xiaoluo! Old Man Di Pai and the other three shouted, but they could not even take care of themselves. They were unable to save her, and they did not have the strength to do so. The claw stretched out, and the black-robed old man sneered. It was a pity to kill this human supreme being. He should suppress and subdue her. Suddenly, in a flash, a purple-robed figure appeared in front of Zhou Xiaoluo. His palm landed on her shoulder, and he easily pulled her body out from the claw. The black-robed old man's claw fell and shattered the space, revealing a huge pitch-black void. Talisman blazed, but Zhou Xiaoluo's body had already disappeared. Zhou Xiaoluo was still in a daze from the sudden change of events. She immediately looked back, and when she saw a purple-robed figure appear beside her, her delicate body could not help but tremble. Rock Emperor! Zhou Xiaoluo was surprised. She did not expect the Demon King, Du Xiaofu, to suddenly appear here. It's the Rock Emperor! Old Man Di Pai and the others, who were in the midst of a bitter battle, thought that Zhou Xiaoluo was doomed. However, when they suddenly saw Du Xiaofu's figure, they were immediately excited. Every one of them was overjoyed, and an earth-shattering profound qi gushed out, fiercely clashing with their opponents. Are you all right? Du Xiaofu looked at Zhou Xiaoluo and smiled. He did not expect to meet people from the farmer's clan here. Someone suddenly intervened, causing the black-clothed old man to immediately stare intently at Du Xiaofu. He seemed to have sensed a certain aura and his heart secretly trembled. The name of the great Rock Emperor seemed to have faintly been heard everywhere. Kill! A roar rang out, and the muscular figure of the demonic ape appeared. Light burst out, and talisman intertwined. He immediately pounced forward. Bang bang bang! How could these four-winged demon snakes and lightning demon snakes be a match for the demonic ape? They were instantly killed and could not withstand a single blow. The demonic ape locked onto the sage-to-be who was fighting with Old Man Di Pai, and punched out, shaking the sky, directly suppressing him. It's the demonic ape, they are together, quickly retreat. The black-robed old man recognized the demonic ape. Although he did not know why the demonic ape was with these humans, it was enough to prove that the demonic ape and these humans were together. They were no match for the demonic ape, so they shouted and tried to escape. Humph! Du Xiaofu's lips curled into a cold smile. Whether it was the lightning demon snake or the four-winged demon snake, he did not have a good impression of them. Suddenly, he waved his hand and bent his fingers into a claw, and an earth-shattering golden light gushed out. The surrounding space suddenly froze, and the mysterious golden talisman burst out. An overbearing aura suddenly descended, and the black-robed old man's figure was directly sealed in the space. Bang! Under the deep sound of the explosion, the black-robed old man's figure instantly turned into a mist of blood and poured down. There was no way for him to escape, and his body and soul were destroyed. Run quickly! When the surrounding figures saw that a sage-to-be cultivator was killed so easily, they did not dare to stay, and immediately fled in panic. The waves of purple flames seeped out of the void and turned into purple flaming thunderbolts. They pierced through the bodies of the four-winged demonic snake clan and the lightning demonic snake clan that were fleeing in panic, killing them and burning them to ashes. Bang! The last sage-to-be cultivator revealed his huge body, and was directly killed by the demonic ape. His blood splattered across the sky, and Old Man Di Pai and the others were secretly frightened. Swoosh swoosh, Ouyang Shuang and Dai Xingyu's figures slowly descended, and directly landed beside Zhou Xiaoluo. It's good that you're fine. I didn't expect to see you here. Ouyang Shuang smiled and was familiar with Zhou Xiaoluo. Are you all here? Zhou Xiaoluo put away the armor on her body, and her hair fluttered. Her face was pale, and she looked at Ouyang Shuang and Dai Xingyu with surprise, but she was not surprised. Then she looked at the purple-robed figure beside her, and her heart rippled. Under the invisible aura, she could feel that this guy's aura had skyrocketed, and his cultivation had probably reached another level. Thank you very much, Rock Emperor. Old Man Di Pai and the other experts of the farmer clan immediately stepped forward. Several of them were excited, and they cupped their fists at Du Xiaofu in gratitude. It's nothing. Senior, you're too polite. Du Xiaofu bowed to Old Man Di Pai, grateful that the farmer clan had always helped him, especially Old Man Di Pai in front of him. Back then, Old Man Di Pai and the others went to the legalism to help him, and Du Xiaofu would never forget it. As the sound of Du Xiaofu's voice faded, he stared at the primordial holy weapon in front of him. He then said to Zhou Xiaoluo, "This item belongs to you guys. Take it." Zhou Xiaoluo's eyes flickered. She knew very well that if it were not for Du Xiaofu's help, not to mention this treasure, the farmer clan would have suffered unimaginable consequences. Looking at Du Xiaofu, Old Man Di Pai and the others felt embarrassed. There's no need to be so polite. You guys saw it first, so of course it belongs to you. Du Xiaofu smiled. Although he had a troublesome personality, he would not have any petty thoughts when facing the farmer clan who had always helped him. Not to mention the fact that the farmer clan had always helped him, they had also taken good care of Little Green and the little tiger. Then I won't be polite. Zhou Xiaoluo's pearly white teeth slightly opened, and she nodded. Her beautiful figure flashed, and light surged as she took the immemorial saint weapon. Senior, the farmer clan should have more than just you guys, right? Du Xiaofu looked at Old Man Di Pai and the others. This time, when the ancient desolate ominous grounds opened, the farmer clan's hidden experts and experts in seclusion seemed to have entered. Du Xiaofu had seen them at the entrance, so there should be more than just these few people. Let's split up. This way, our chances will be higher. I wonder when we will meet again. Old Man Di Pai looked at Du Xiaofu with astonishment and said, "Along the way, I have heard a lot of news about the Rock Emperor. It is rumored that the Rock Emperor had appeared in the Beast Alliance and the human race in this ominous grounds, and had caused a commotion. I wonder if this is true?" Du Xiaofu was slightly taken aback, then smiled bitterly and nodded. He did not expect the news to spread so quickly. It seemed like his identity in the Beast Alliance had been exposed after being exposed in front of the Divine Palace. Goo. Seeing Du Xiaofu nod, Old Man Di Pai and the other experts of the farmer clan were speechless and swallowed their saliva. They had heard a lot of news along the way and it had spread like wildfire. The Rock Emperor could really cause a commotion wherever he went. Even in the Beast Alliance and the human race, he had stirred up a storm. After that, Du Xiaofu asked Old Man Di Pai and the other experts of the farmer clan about the people from the barren country. 2 days ago, in the burial wasteland, Old Man Di Pai and the others had seen the child of the sacred array, Zhen Qingchun. Brother. Du Xiaofu was moved. Although there was no news about his drunkard father, Sister Xiaojing, Little Xingxing and Du Xiaoyao, at least there was news about his brother, Zhen Qingchun. Rock Emperor, I've received news that Long Qianchao, Hui Wu, and the others have joined forces and are looking for the people who are going against the barren country. I'm afraid they are also looking for you, Rock Emperor. Be careful. Old Man Di Pai said to Du Xiaofu. They had been to many places these days, so they had received a lot of news. Long Qianchao, Hui Wu, Du Xiaofu smiled faintly, a cold glint flashing across his eyes. The experts from the ancient era in the eternal tomb could not enter the ancient barren fearsome grounds. Du Xiaofu did not care about Long Qianchao and the others. Once they met, it was still unknown who would be the one to deal with. Xiaoluo also asked about Little Qing. Du Xiaofu did not hide anything and told Little Qing about the general situation in the Divine Bird Tribe. There are indeed members of the Divine Bird Tribe here. Zhou Xiaoluo was surprised. There was a Divine Bird Tribe expert in the farmer's clan. When he heard that Little Qing had returned to the tribe, he was happy for her. After that, Old Man Di Pai, Zhou Xiaoluo, and the others planned to leave. The burial heaven death trap was dangerous, but there were also opportunities. It was not good to follow behind Du Xiaofu, as they would undoubtedly become a burden. The burial heaven death trap is very dangerous. You have to be careful. Du Xiaofu did not say much. He could not protect these people, and he was also surrounded by danger. You be careful too. Zhou Xiaoluo glanced at Du Xiaofu, and a glimmer of light flashed in her eyes. Then she followed Old Man Di Pai and the others and left. Watching Old Man Di Pai and the others disappear, Du Xiaofu turned back. His figure flashed and he arrived at the cliff where the immemorial divine weapon had just appeared. There was an entrance to the cave, but it was very simple. Zhou Xiaoluo and the others must have already searched it. Did you find anything? Seeing Du Xiaofu's expression, Ouyang Shuang came to Du Xiaofu's side. She knew Du Xiaofu quite well, and she was afraid that she had found something. Maybe there are some gains. Du Xiaofu smiled and told everyone to be careful. Then he entered the cave. After a while, inside the cave, Du Xiaofu and the others appeared behind a powerful restriction. They looked at everything in front of them and were secretly shocked. With the method of the redbone horse monkey's meridian soul, Du Xiaofu sensed this place and entered it without too much difficulty. This was a stone room filled with multicolored light. There were martial skills, cultivation methods, ancient medicinal pills, immemorial divine weapons, immemorial Dao weapons, and immemorial divine weapons piled up like a small mountain. This must be the treasure of an immemorial mountain sect. We have a lot of gains. The black ape was quite excited. There were so many treasures here, and they had a lot to gain. The corners of Du Xiaofu's mouth curled into a smile. These things weren't simple. They had been left behind for a very long time. It was very likely that they had come from the ancient times. Those sage experts would go crazy if they found out about these things. After all, so many cultivation resources could be used to nurture a lot of powerhouses. Du Xiaofu smiled faintly and put all the cultivation resources in the stone room into his Jiankuan bag. Ka. As the cultivation resources in the stone room were taken away, suddenly, an underground crack with stone steps appeared on the stone wall. The crack twisted and turned, and a terrifying aura spread out. Strange, mysterious runes swept out and appeared in the void, confining the void. Not good, we seem to have touched some kind of restriction. Dai Xingyu's expression changed. The person who set up this place is really ruthless. Du Xiaofu said. The person who left behind this treasure must have left behind a backup plan. He didn't want others to take it, and in the end he even set up a hidden restriction. Whoever took this treasure would also be buried inside. Let's go! Golden light swept out from Du Xiaofu's forehead, turning into the shadow of a red-bone horse monkey. It covered everyone, and then disappeared outside the restriction, drilling into the stone wall. Rumble! Following Du Xiaofu's disappearance, the stone chamber began to collapse. Rumbling sounds rang out continuously, as if the entire mountain was about to collapse. When Du Xiaofu's figure reappeared in the valley outside the cave, the original cave in front of him had collapsed like a hot knife through butter. The whole valley rumbled. Not bad. Du Xiaofu's figure flew into the distance of the valley and looked at the collapsed cave in front of him with a smile. They had gained a lot. There was movement here, and there were experts everywhere. This was not a place to stay for long. Everyone disappeared again and went into the depths of the burial dead land. The world was dark, and more than 20 figures landed on the mountain peak in the vast mountain range. In the lead, there were several figures with exceptionally powerful auras. Their bodies were dazzling, and their eyes were resplendent. Their invisible auras affected the surrounding void. If Du Xiaofu was here, he would definitely be able to recognize that there were many familiar faces in this group. In the lead, there were two middle-aged people with exceptionally powerful auras. They were Long Qi of the Eight Desolation Demon Dragon clan and Feng Jin of the Distant Sky Flame Phoenix clan. It should be here. Long Qi looked ahead, and there was a blazing light in his eyes. Be careful. It shouldn't be simple, Feng Jin said. Long Qi was not careless. He knew that Feng Jin had some talent in space and could sense some special danger. Be careful, Long Qi said. Then the group rushed forward. Whoosh whoosh, Du Xiaofu's figure appeared in the continuous mountains. He looked ahead, and there was a faint golden light in his eyes. Something doesn't seem right. Dai Xingyu looked around and frowned. There is a restriction. It was left behind by an expert. Du Xiaofu's redbone horse monkey meridian soul's talent sensed this place and also felt the existence of a powerful restriction. We should be able to find something. Du Xiaofu pursed his lips and smiled. If there was a restriction, there was definitely a treasure inside. The redbone horse monkey meridian soul also sensed the aura of a treasure. With the redbone horse monkey meridian soul around, ordinary restrictions did not need to be bothered. Rumble. A moment later, the mysterious runes of the talisman soared into the sky. Its aura was vast, and streams of energy pierced through the void like spears tearing through the sky. Be careful. Du Xiaofu made his move and blocked a large amount of energy streams. A bitter smile appeared on his face. There was indeed a restriction here, but this restriction was not ordinary. The redbone horse monkey meridian soul was not very useful and was trapped inside. Master, there are people in front who are also trapped. They seem to be from the distant Sky Flame Phoenix clan and the 8 Desolation Demon Dragon clan. Zhong Yuan discovered the existence of this person in front and sensed the aura of the 8 Desolation Demon Dragon clan and the distant Sky Flame Phoenix clan. Du Xiaofu also looked to the side. Not far away, there were more than 20 figures trapped in this vast restriction. Looking at those figures, Du Xiaofu raised his brows slightly. How could he not recognize them? They were Long Qi of the 8 Desolation Demon Dragon clan and Feng Jin of the distant Sky Flame Phoenix clan. Looking at the aura fluctuations on Feng Jin's body, he had almost recovered from his heavy injuries. It seemed that the distant Sky Flame Phoenix clan really had a lot of resources. Other than Long Qi and Feng Jin, Du Xiaofu also saw many familiar figures. Qing Long of the 8 Desolation Demon Dragon clan was also among them. There was also a golden-robed old man that he had fought in the Beast Alliance. He was an early-stage Saint-stage cultivator from the gold-devouring Rat clan. However, he did not see Luo Shang. She did not seem to be following by Feng Jin's side. At this moment, an old man with a cold aura attracted Du Xiaofu's attention. There were even some traces of the power of lightning on his body. The Dark Lightning Demon Snake Clan. Du Xiaofu's eyes moved. That cold old man should be from the Dark Lightning Demon Snake Clan. Back then, he had killed an early-stage Saint-stage old woman from the Dark Lightning Demon Snake Clan. At this moment, the aura of this old man was clearly not inferior to Feng Jin and Long Qi. He was also at the mid-stage of the Saint stage. It's that kid. Long Qi and Feng Jin also discovered Du Xiaofu. Back in the Beast Alliance, Du Xiaofu had revealed his true appearance in the end. At this moment, Long Qi, Feng Jin, and the others recognized him immediately. It's him. It's that kid. He's not dead yet. Instantly, more than half of the 20 figures looked at Du Xiaofu with trembling eyes with lingering fear. Chapter 2367. The golden-clothed old man from the Goldbiter Rat clan had a gloomy expression. He could not suppress his anger, but he also had a lingering fear and did not dare to act rashly. His expression was extremely complicated. The cold old man's gaze was also fixed on Du Xiaofu. A cold light flashed in his eyes, and his aura became even colder. Qing Long's expression was also very complicated. As an outstanding member of the younger generation of the Beast Alliance and a supreme Nirvana stage expert, he knew very well that he did not even have the qualifications to be compared to that human. This blow was too great for him. They don't seem to have a good impression of you? Ouyang Shuang's gaze swept over, and then her big and beautiful eyes looked at Du Xiaofu. At this moment, anyone could see the expressions on their faces. They wanted nothing more than to skin Du Xiaofu alive. I don't like them either. Du Xiaofu smiled slightly. He naturally did not have a good impression of Long Qi, Feng Jin, and the others. However, now did not seem to be the time to make a move. 3 intermediate Saint stage experts and a few early Saint stage experts. Du Xiaofu was not afraid of such a lineup, but he was worried that with Ouyang Shuang and Dai Xingyu by his side, Ouyang Shuang and Dai Xingyu would not be affected if they fought. Swoosh swoosh, Long Qi, Feng Jin, and the others' gazes landed on Du Xiaofu, Ouyang Shuang and the others. They were rather surprised to see Zhong Yuan here. Zhong Yuan, you're actually with this human. The initial Sage Realm golden-clothed old man from the gold-devouring rat clan spoke. It seemed as if he was familiar with Zhong Yuan. The Beast Alliance didn't have any objections to such a loose cultivator and didn't want to get involved. However, Zhong Yuan was from the Beast clan after all. None of the Beast Alliance's demonic beasts would be able to tolerate him walking together with a human. It's none of your business. Zhong Yuan glanced at the golden-clothed old man and did not take him to heart at all. The golden-clothed old man's expression darkened even more when he was ignored by Zhong Yuan. What, do you want to fight? Zhong Yuan looked at the golden-clothed old man as if he did not take him seriously at all. Zhong Yuan, you don't seem to be qualified. Feng Jin spoke as he looked at the demonic ape with a rather complicated expression that was suffused with crimson flames. The demonic ape was slightly fearful when facing Feng Jin. There was still a huge gap between the intermediate stage of the Saint stage and the peak of the initial stage of the Saint stage. Then I don't know if I'm qualified. Du Xiaofu spoke and looked at Feng Jin. His indifferent gaze swept over him. Looking at Du Xiaofu's gaze, Feng Ai's eyes could not help but twitch. The heavy injury he suffered back then was still vivid in his mind, and he still had a lingering fear in his heart. Kid, this isn't the place to fight. If you want to fight, we'll accompany you. However, at this moment, with 3 mid-stage Holy Beast Realm cultivators and a few early-stage Holy Beast Realm cultivators around, Feng Jin wasn't afraid. However, he knew that he couldn't do anything to that kid alone. Du Xiaofu's gaze shifted as he smiled and said to Feng Jin, "Of course, this is not the place to make a move. I don't intend to make a move either. I think there was some misunderstanding with the distant Sky Flame Phoenix clan." However, when he heard Du Xiaofu's words, the demonic ape was secretly speechless. Where did this misunderstanding come from? Not long ago, he had annihilated an expert from the distant Sky Flame Phoenix clan. Feng Jin couldn't help but be stunned. Could it be that this kid is really afraid of the distant Sky Flame Phoenix clan? It seems like he wants to befriend them. He secretly moved his eyes and exchanged a look with Long Qi and the cold old man. Perhaps there is indeed some misunderstanding. Now that everyone is trapped here, it won't be easy to get out. If we can't break this restriction, we'll all be trapped here. Feng Jin looked at Du Xiaofu and said, "I just came in. I wonder if you guys have discovered anything," Du Xiaofu asked with a smile. Feng Ai's eyes moved, and the crimson flames fluctuated. He seemed to be somewhat confident as he said, "If my guess is correct, the person who set up this restriction was an ancient almighty figure." Yes. A restriction set up by an ancient almighty figure. Du Xiaofu's gaze moved slightly. He had long known that this was a restriction set up by an expert, and it wasn't an ordinary restriction. Otherwise, it wouldn't have been able to block the Scarlet Horse Monkey's bloodline soul. And there was only one way to deal with this kind of restriction, and that was to forcefully destroy it. This is a restriction set up by an ancient almighty figure. It's very powerful. None of us can even think of leaving now. If we don't think of a way to break this restriction, we can only be trapped alive in this restriction. Long Qi said. Then I wonder if everyone has a plan to deal with it? Du Xiaofu asked. Feng Jin raised his eyebrows slightly and said, "This restriction set up by an ancient almighty figure has been here for countless years. I'm afraid it has already begun to loosen. I think that if we all join forces, we might have a chance to break it." Hearing Feng Jin's words, the eyes of Du Xiaofu, the demonic ape, and the others immediately lit up. That makes sense. Why don't we all join forces? Otherwise, we'll really be trapped here. Du Xiaofu smiled faintly. His gaze swept past Feng Jin, Long Qi, and the others before finally landing on the cold old man. Under the sharp power of his origin spirit, Du Xiaofu knew that the cold old man's cultivation was definitely not inferior to Long Qi and Feng Jin. When Feng Jin and the others heard this, they also looked towards Du Xiaofu. The gazes of Feng Jin, Long Qi, Qing Long, and the others moved slightly and landed on Du Xiaofu. They seemed to be rather puzzled that this fellow actually took the initiative to join forces. Long Qi, Feng Jin, and the cold old man exchanged glances without leaving a trace before nodding. Their figures also slowly took a few steps forward as a strange look flashed through their eyes. They looked at Du Xiaofu and said, "Kid, we can join forces to break this restriction, but you have to guarantee one thing. Otherwise, we should all think of our own ways. We'd rather be trapped for a while than join forces with you to break this restriction. Tell me, what do you want me to guarantee?" Du Xiaofu looked at Long Qi with an indifferent gaze. Long Qi's face darkened. He had to think of a way to protect the juniors of the 8 Desolation Demon Dragon clan. Moreover, a young supreme being like Qing Long was still by his side. This kid was too terrifying and merciless. Back then in the Beast Alliance, Qi Hu of the 4-winged demon snake clan seemed to have suffered for no reason. Who knew if this kid would repeat the same trick this time and suddenly attack someone else? You have to guarantee that you can't attack us after we join forces to break this restriction. As for the treasures, those who are fated will obtain them. How about it? Long Qi stared at Du Xiaofu and asked. Du Xiaofu indifferently looked at Long Qi, Feng Jin, and the others. His gaze swept across everyone with a faint smile, and he nodded with a smile. Of course, we're all in the same boat now. Even if I want to kill you, it's not now. Moreover, there are so many of you, so I have to think carefully. I hope what you said is true. Feng Jin snorted softly. He also understood that with so many experts around him, this kid wouldn't dare to attack casually. He sneered inwardly. He would let this kid think that he was afraid of him first. When the time came, this kid would regret it. After all, the older the ginger, the spicier it was, and this kid was still a little inexperienced. Of course, I never go back on my word. Du Xiaofu nodded. Hearing Du Xiaofu's words, Dai Xingyu and Ouyang Shuang couldn't help but feel helpless. Then we can join forces to break this restriction. I hope everyone doesn't hold back. Otherwise, no one will be able to leave. The corner of Feng Jin's eyes twitched as he looked at Du Xiaofu and said, "Of course." Du Xiaofu nodded slightly and turned around to give Zhong Yuan, Ouyang Shuang, and Dai Xingyu a look. To Qi. Feng Jin raised his eyes and looked slightly at the sky. Just as an energy spear appeared in the sky again, a blazing energy pillar suddenly surged out from his hand along with resplendent flame runes and soared into the sky. In midair, a faint spatial ripple suddenly flashed. That's it. If I'm not wrong, everyone can break this restriction with a combined attack. Feng Jin's expression changed as he spoke to everyone. At this moment, he indeed needed Du Xiaofu's help. Otherwise, he wouldn't have been trapped here. Understood. Long Qi, the cold old man, and the golden-clothed old man from the Goldbiter rat race nodded slightly. Du Xiaofu also nodded inwardly. This Feng Jin did indeed have some ability. Then let's begin. No one holds back. Qi. After that, Feng Jin and Long Qi were the first to move. In an instant, 2 vast auras covered the heavens and the earth as they swept out. Powerful, profound energy drew upon the energy of the heavens and the earth in this space, causing the entire space to shake to the point it was on the verge of collapse. Blazing talisman markings covered the entire space. Boom! Immediately after, figures soared into the sky one after another. Profound energy erupted at the same time, and the figures of beasts appeared in the sky, roaring loudly. Awoo! In an instant, the restriction was on the verge of collapse, and a monstrous aura spread out. Under Du Xiaofu's nod, the demonic ape's fierce and ferocious qi fluctuated, causing people's hearts to tremble. With a shake of his arm, he smashed the space with a punch, immediately blasting towards the seal in the sky. Join forces and break. Break! Long Qi's awe-inspiring shout resounded in the space like a dragon's roar and thunder. As Long Qi's shout fell, the auras of the cold old man, Feng Jin, and the others that blotted out the sky and earth surged crazily. All sorts of attacks immediately gathered, and the figures of beasts appeared in the sky. Immediately, they transformed into blurry figures of light that shot into the sky like lightning. The fierce and powerful attacks of the Beast Alliance experts also gathered in an instant and exploded in the sky. Ouyang! Ouyang Shuang let out a delicate cry as the profound energy within her body instantly erupted. She brandished her hyacinth sword and a resplendent sword light shot out. Vast and mighty power filled the heavens and earth as an ancient aura filled the air. A vast pressure descended from the sky, causing the surrounding creatures to feel a sense of trepidation. Boom! Boom! Dai Xingyu formed a seal with his hand, and talisman runes that blotted out the sky and earth surged out. They gathered the energy of heaven and earth, and a palm print shot out with blazing flames, as if it was going to set space on fire. All the water vapor in the air evaporated, and the entire space trembled. Rumble! In an instant, boundless energy of heaven and earth followed, and the sound of something tearing through the air could be heard from the spatial ripples. In an instant, the attacks collided with the restriction in the sky. Bang bang bang. Boom! The interior of the restriction immediately trembled, and low explosions continuously sounded out. These many powerful attacks were extremely terrifying, especially Feng Jin, the cold old man, and Long Qi. They really didn't hold back and attacked to shatter the void. Crack crack. Crack! The restriction in the sky shook, and a huge spatial ripple appeared out of thin air. A vast and ancient power spread out, and the broken talisman runes continued to surge out. However, it seemed that they were still a bit away from completely shattering. Du Xiaofu glanced at the sky. This restriction had probably been here for a long time. This restriction set up by an ancient almighty was really terrifying. Du Xiaofu's eyes darkened. He didn't want to be trapped here. Looking at the seal that was difficult to tear apart, golden light surged in his eyes. His hand seals changed rapidly, and a golden light whizzed around him like the sun. In just an instant, the golden light was boundless, and two golden pillars of light suddenly shot out from his eyes. Buzz buzz! Buzz! In the next moment, Du Xiaofu stomped his foot on the ground, and the void trembled. With a wave of his hand, wind and thunder rumbled, and his figure instantly appeared in the void. A purple-gold light flashed in his hand, and a terrifying aura spread out. The purple-gold heavenly tower was already in his hand. Hegemonic sword path. The purple-gold heavenly tower was swung out. It was simple and direct without any fancy moves. It suddenly slashed towards the faint spatial ripple in the sky. Chi la! Chi! Accompanied by the sound of wind and thunder above the purple-gold heavenly tower, the resplendent sword light carried an incomparably domineering aura as it streaked across the sky, shattering the void along the way. The entire space trembled. Wherever the sword light passed, the spatial ripples turned into ashes, revealing a long spatial crack. Long Qi, Feng Jin, and the others were secretly shocked as they watched Du Xiaofu make his move. The momentum of that brat sword strike had actually reached such a terrifying level, causing everyone's hearts to tremble. Long Qi, the cold old man, and Feng Jin had the strongest cultivation bases. At this moment, the three of them felt the terror of this sword strike even more. The domineering and arrogant sword Qi contained a peerless martial path, causing their hearts to tremble. This was especially true for Feng Jin and Long Qi. At this moment, they were the most shocked to feel that this sword strike was probably enough to easily kill an early-stage Saint Stage expert. Compared to the last time he attacked in the Beast Alliance, this brat's strength seemed to have improved quite a bit. This made them the most fearful. In midair, the purple-gold sword light ruthlessly slashed at the spatial ripples in the sky with an irresistible force. The sword light was sharp, and this kind of collision caused one's heart to skip a beat. Chi! Chi! Immediately after, everyone's eyes were stunned. They saw the purple-gold sword light slash at the terrifying spatial ripples. The mysterious runes on the talisman fluctuated, and the spatial ripples only froze for an instant before a monstrous domineering aura swept out from the purple-gold sword light. Crack crack! Crack! In a short instant, the sound of spatial ripples shattering could be heard. The purple-gold sword light shattered the space and then crushed down with a powerful force, ruthlessly splitting the spatial ripples restriction into two. Bang bang bang! A low, muffled sound immediately exploded. The spatial restriction shattered, and the space between heaven and earth trembled violently under such a terrifying impact. The mysterious runes on the talisman shattered, and the terrifying aftershock of the force directly tore open spatial cracks in the surrounding space, revealing a pitch-black light that instantly merged back together. Dang 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 dang. Chi! A terrifying energy storm swept out in the sky, spreading in all directions. Everyone below was instantly forced back. Those with weaker strength spat out blood from the aftershock of the force, and their faces turned pale. Du Xiaofu's figure appeared in front of Ouyang Shuang and Dai Xingyu. Golden light fluctuated and protected the two women. As for Feng Jin and Long Qi, their expressions changed. That brat's strength had already reached a level that they knew they couldn't contend against. Compared to that time in the Beast Alliance, he was definitely on another level. To Qi. Under everyone's different gazes, the restriction in the sky finally shattered and disappeared. The scene in front of everyone's eyes instantly changed. A huge palace appeared. It was surrounded by mountains on three sides, and the mountain peaks towered into the clouds. Thick fog lingered around it, but it was deathly silent. Everyone looked at it. The huge palace was extremely ancient and strange. It was as if it had risen from the ground among the mountains. It was majestic, grand, and extraordinary. Suddenly, Dai Xingyu cried out in surprise. At this moment, on a huge square in front of the huge palace, the outline of a giant golden beast was crawling on the ground. It was more than 3,000 meters long and was winding around. Its entire body was golden as if it was covered in gold. The eyes on its huge head were tightly shut, and there were sharp claws covered in scales under its abdomen. The thick scales extended all the way to its back. Above the huge demonic beast's corpse, a surging beast sovereign's aura was still spreading. It was only a corpse, but even though it was dead, it was still so majestic that no one dared to touch it easily. Judging from the shockingly majestic aura spreading down, this was definitely a terrifying demonic beast. A dragon, it's the corpse of an immemorial dragon expert. Looking at the huge demonic beast's body, Du Xiaofu's eyes suddenly lit up. It was actually a dragon corpse. To be able to appear here, it was definitely a corpse left behind by an immemorial dragon expert. Du Xiaofu reckoned that this dragon corpse was definitely an immemorial dragon corpse. It was most likely from the dragon phoenix tribulation. It's our dragon's ancestor. Long Qi, Qing Long, and the others trembled. Light gushed out from their eyes, and they were extremely excited. There were mysterious runes fluctuating in their bodies. It was a familiar aura that originated from the bloodline in their bodies. It was a real dragon, an immemorial dragon expert. An immemorial expert and an immemorial sacred artifact. Someone exclaimed in surprise again. Everyone looked over and saw that in front of the giant golden dragon's corpse, there was a humanoid figure standing tall and straight on the ground. However, half of his feet were sunk into the cracks in the ground, and the surrounding cracks were spreading out. The long robe on this figure had become ragged after countless years of glory, but his body was still well preserved. His messy long hair covered half of his face, and his body was slightly thin. Although his muscles had shrunk a little, there was still some luster. His body was tall and straight, and there was even a layer of invisible spatial ripples at the edge of his body. It made one's spiritual soul tremble, and one would feel a huge and majestic pressure all over one's body. Such a body was only a corpse. However, when people looked at it from afar, it was still as majestic as a mountain. It was unshakable. The level of pressure was not below that of the huge dragon corpse. What a strong pressure. Yes. Du Xiaofu's eyes trembled. It was just a corpse, but it made him feel uneasy just by looking at it. The cultivation level of this expert when he was alive must have reached an extremely terrifying level. In the hand of this figure, he held a black longsword that was propped up on the ground. The longsword was strange. It was pitch black like ink, and its shape was strange. It gave off a feeling of incomparable sharpness. Although it had experienced countless years, the black longsword was still pitch black and deep. There was no dust, and an aura that made one's spiritual soul tremble spread out from the longsword. There was even a faint energy of the world that spread out around the pitch-black longsword, constantly lingering around it. On the pitch-black longsword, there was a strange glow of mysterious black runes. It was unknown how many tens of thousands of years it had been like this, as if it had existed for eternity. Du Xiaofu was shocked, and his eyes kept flashing. This pitch-black longsword was definitely not an ordinary immemorial sacred artifact. The purple-gold heavenly tower in his body was already throbbing, as if it had sensed something and wanted to rush out. Immemorial dragon corpse, immemorial expert, immemorial sacred artifact. Everyone's gazes fell on the dragon corpse, the human-shaped corpse, and the pitch-black longsword. Their eyes were burning with greed and amazement. At this moment, everyone's gazes were focused on the dragon corpse, the human-shaped corpse, and the pitch-black longsword. Feng Jin, Long Qi, and the cold old man exchanged glances, and 3 killing intent shot out from their eyes. Du Xiaofu die. In an instant, 3 figures appeared in front of Du Xiaofu. 3 terrifying auras gushed out like a volcanic eruption, imprisoning the void. One was vigorous, one was scorching, and one was cold. 3 auras of the middle stage of the holy beast realm swept out without reservation. Rumble. The 3 figures and 3 terrifying attacks were like lightning. 3 terrifying energies spread out, piercing through and destroying space. In front of the 3 attacks, the space shattered inch by inch, revealing a pitch-black spatial hole. The entire space shook endlessly. In a flash, the 3 terrifying attacks directly enveloped Du Xiaofu's body. Immediately, Du Xiaofu's figure shattered into pieces, and his figure shattered into pieces in the shattered space. Qing Long, the early-stage Holy Beast Realm elder from the Goldbiter rat clan, and the others hadn't recovered from their shock. They didn't know what had happened, and their expressions changed drastically. Du Xiaofu's figure instantly shattered into pieces in the shattered space and was destroyed. After a moment of shock, Qing Long and the golden-clothed elder sneered. That brat was still too inexperienced. He couldn't escape death in the end. Long Qi, Feng Jin, and the cold old man appeared and sneered. This brat was too inexperienced. Did he really think that they wouldn't attack him? Whoosh! Du Xiaofu's figure shattered, but no blood flowed out. As the spatial ripples shook, he instantly turned into nothingness. At this moment, Feng Jin, Long Qi, and the cold old man's sneering faces suddenly changed drastically, as if they had discovered something. Boom! A blurry light fluctuation appeared on Zhong Yuan, Ouyang Shuang, and Dai Xingyu, enveloping the 3 of them. At the same time, golden light fluctuated, and Du Xiaofu, who had just shattered and disappeared into the void, appeared intact. Chapter 2368. Following which, a ray of light shot into the center of his brows. Du Xiaofu's golden eyes indifferently swept across Feng Jin, Long Qi, and the cold old man as he said, "You 3 evil creatures, did you think that I wouldn't be on guard against you? I knew that you had ill intentions." When this indifferent voice fell, a strange rune shot into the sky around Du Xiaofu's body. His aura surged and erupted, blooming with golden light. In an instant, the resplendent golden light formed feather-like materialized fragments around his body. Layer by layer, they formed a set of divine and gorgeous golden armor that covered his entire body. At the same time, a pair of great golden wings appeared behind Du Xiaofu. His aura was monstrous, and it was truly connected to his flesh, blood, tendons, and bones. He was like a real human-shaped great rock that wanted to soar into the sky and cross the heavens. The fusion was perfect and flawless. The magnificent armor and the domineering golden rock wings made him look even more majestic and domineering. Screech! When the feathery armor and golden wings appeared, the screech of the golden-winged great rock pierced through the clouds and cracked rocks. An incomparably domineering aura swept through the void, causing Du Xiaofu to seem like a real human-shaped great rock that wanted to spread its wings and break through the sky. Since you guys want to make a move after exhausting yourselves to death, I'll play with you guys. As soon as he finished speaking, golden light erupted, and Du Xiaofu's figure disappeared from the spot. Not good, retreat, retreat. Feng Jin and Long Qi had a bad premonition when they saw Du Xiaofu mysteriously store Zhong Yuan and the other two into some kind of treasure. At this moment, they shouted loudly, and their expressions changed drastically. The three figures quickly pounced towards the people beside them. Long Qi even pounced towards Qing Long at the first possible moment. That was the strongest younger generation of the 8 Desolation Demon Dragon clan. There absolutely could not be any problems. However, it was already too late. Du Xiaofu's figure was too fast, completely surpassing Feng Jin, Long Qi, and the other two. He instantly arrived in front of the group. As the golden wings of the great rock flapped, his 5 fingers curled slightly, and the resplendent golden talisman runes on his fingertips seemed to want to tear through space. Energy ripples visible to the naked eye spread out from the claws. Rock Chaos Crushing Claw. At this moment, the aura on Du Xiaofu's body was like a peerless, ferocious rock. The dazzling talisman markings on his claws were like golden lightning that wreaked havoc. It was as if a golden-winged rock was about to spread its wings and fly out. The domineering and fierce aura that seeped out from the claw imprint caused everyone to tremble before they could recover from their shock. Not good. The expressions of the golden-clothed old man and the 2 early-stage Saint Beast Realm cultivators changed drastically at the same time. In their shock, they unleashed their full strength, and 3 vast auras swept out. Qila, it was too fast. Its momentum was like thunder. Golden light erupted, and countless golden lightning snakes shot out from the claws. In an incomparably domineering manner, they ruthlessly crushed the golden-clothed old man and the other 2 early-stage Saint Beast Realm cultivators. Domineering energy erupted, causing the surrounding space to surge and boil. Under everyone's gazes, the handprint and claw directly tore through a large area of space in the most powerful manner. The large area of space turned pitch black under the raging golden light. The sound of space shattering rang out, and resplendent energy ripples spread out like lightning, causing space to shatter inch by inch. Swoosh swoosh, 5 pitch black cracks appeared. Those pure black cracks made one's scalp tingle. Damn it! The 3 early-stage Saint Beast Realm cultivators of the golden-clothed old man and the other 2 early-stage Saint Beast Realm cultivators' eyes grew bigger and bigger. The aura of death grew in their hearts. Before they could fully activate their bodies, they were torn apart and turned into a bloody mist. Ka-ka! The 3 early-stage Saint Beast Realm cultivators were torn into pieces in an instant. There was no way for them to escape. Under the domineering energy aftermath, the surrounding domain realm demon beasts were directly sent flying. Some of the demon beasts coughed out blood. Those with lower strength were already severely injured by the aftermath of the restriction. At this moment, they could no longer resist and were killed. Watch out! Long Qi's figure appeared beside Qing Long. He grabbed Qing Long's shoulder with his hand and pulled him away. Kid, you're courting death. The cold old man and Feng Jin roared furiously. At the same time, Feng Jin's figure had already arrived. Blazing flames spread out and transformed into a blazing armor that covered his entire body. A pair of wings spread out like the wings of a phoenix. Mysterious runes rippled, and the faint cry of a phoenix could be heard. He directly set up the Flame Phoenix flying armor. An incomparably scorching aura swept out in an instant. He directly struck out with his palm. The flames that filled the sky carried a blazing aura that could burn space and cause one's origin spirit to wither away. They condensed into a seal with lightning speed and slammed towards Du Xiaofu. Hiss! At the same time, an energy pillar in front of the cold old man pierced through space and transformed into a terrifying lightning demon snake. Lightning wreaked havoc like a dragon's roar as it pounced towards Du Xiaofu. Umph! Du Xiaofu's gaze raised, and he paid no attention to it. He watched as Feng Jin's palm seal floated over, and as the palm seal condensed, strands of strange and violent energy fluctuations suddenly rippled out. The energy fluctuations that seemed to have materialized instantly condensed into a multicolored and resplendent palm seal. There were the roars of dragons, tigers, birds, and turtles, and the pressure surging through the sky. The profound yellow emperor's seal slammed out. The energy on the palm seal poured out like a flood and expanded with the wind. It was accompanied by a destructive might that suddenly swept out. At the same time, Du Xiaofu swung the purple-gold heavenly tower in his hand, which he had not restrained all this time. A sword appeared in the sky and slashed at the lightning demon snake. Everything was as fast as lightning. In the blink of an eye, the profound yellow emperor's seal and Feng Jin's palm seal collided head-on. Runes shot out and the sky rumbled. Rumble! With a muffled sound of energy, gorgeous runes shot out. Terrifying energy ripples swept out like a huge wave. Within the dazzling light, the silhouettes of the azure dragon, white tiger, phoenix, black tortoise, and black tortoise appeared. Qila! Sword light surged into the sky as purple-gold light swept out. The sword light was blazing and resplendent. Bang, bang, bang! A large area of the void was collapsing. Following that, two figures in the sky were sent flying at the same time and smashed down from the sky. Feng Jin and the cold old man spat out blood as their bodies smashed into the square below. The earth shook and the mountains shook as if they could not withstand a single blow. On the other hand, Du Xiaofu's figure did not waver at all. He flapped his wings and crossed the void, appearing in front of Long Qi, who was pulling Qing Long and retreating. His entire body was covered in feathered armor, and the golden wings of the great rock spread out behind him. He was domineering and mighty. Do you think you can save him? Du Xiaofu sneered. The killing intent in his golden eyes was undisguised. Since these evil creatures wanted to attack secretly, there was no need to be polite. Brat, how dare you? Long Qi's expression changed drastically. Without any time to think, a ferocious aura swept out. The aura of a mid-stage holy beast rose to its peak and swept out. A fist mark seemed to have transformed into a bolt of lightning as it charged directly at Du Xiaofu. Du Xiaofu snorted and retreated instead of advancing. Under Long Qi's shocked and puzzled gaze, he allowed the fist to hit his chest. At the same time, he raised his hand as fast as lightning and slashed his sword at the stunned and trembling Qing Long. Boom! Boom! This sword strike was as if it could split a mountain. There was nothing fancy about it, but an incomparably domineering aura suddenly spread out from that sword strike, causing the space to shake violently. At such a close distance, the space where the sword passed almost collapsed, revealing traces of a vacuum. It was a simple sword strike, but it contained destruction. Bang! A muffled groan came from Du Xiaofu's chest. It was caused by Long Qi's punch, but the purple-gold heavenly sword had already reached Qing Long's head. Granduncle Long Qi, save me! Qing Long's eyes were filled with shock. The aura of death grew in the depths of his beast soul and rose wildly. At this moment, the powerful and arrogant Qing Long was finally terrified and shouted at the top of his lungs. However, it was useless. At this moment, it was difficult for Long Qi to escape from this sword strike. If it was Qing Long, it might not be useful even if he gave up his life. Moreover, Long Qi was unwilling to give up his life, so he could only make a choice. Swish! At the critical moment, Long Qi waved his hand and threw Qing Long directly at Du Xiaofu's sword. His figure retreated rapidly. Swish! The pitiful Qing Long was thrown out to feed the sword by Long Qi. In an instant, his body was slashed into a bloody mist and his soul was destroyed. Long Qi retreated and managed to escape the calamity. However, he was in a sorry state. Du Xiaofu also staggered a few steps back. Long Qi's punch was not weak. The punch of the 8 Desolation demonic dragon, who was in the middle stage of the holy beast realm, was not weak. However, Du Xiaofu's cultivation was in the middle stage of the holy beast realm. With the addition of the green spirit armor and the immortal Xian body, such a punch could not cause any substantial damage to him. It only caused the blood in his body to churn. Swish, swish. As he retreated, Du Xiaofu continued to attack. He waved his hand and a green light shone from his palm. The illusory saber formation was activated. Hundreds of saber radiances broke through the air and cut through the void. They contained the numbers of the 9 palaces and yin and yang. Screams were heard. The remaining experts of the Beast Alliance who retreated in a panic had their bodies pierced through in an instant. They screamed in agony and were all killed. Brat, The 8 Desolation demonic dragon tribe will not let you off. Long Qi was furious. He could only watch helplessly as Qing Long was thrown out to save his life. This was undoubtedly more furious than watching Qing Long being killed with his own eyes. Roar! Long Qi's voice was like a dragon's roar. His body expanded. In an instant, light overflowed into the sky. His figure transformed into the true form of the 8 Desolation demonic dragon. He was like a dragon and a flood dragon. He also had the might of a dragon and a terrifying pressure. Bastard! The ground below trembled. Monstrous scarlet flames swept out like a storm. The aura of the supreme beast race spread out, bringing with it a monstrous blazing aura that shot into the sky. Coo! The cry was like the cry of a phoenix. A huge distant flame phoenix's true form surged into the sky along with the ruins and huge rocks. It instantly flapped its wings and rose into the sky. Feng Jin transformed into his true form. His huge beast body, which was tens of thousands of feet tall, was like a cloud in the sky. Light covered the sky, and mysterious runes enveloped the void. The surroundings were like a sea of flames. An indescribable blazing pressure pressed down on the sky. Rumble! A huge lightning demonic snake body that was not inferior to Long Qi's true form appeared. It was covered in lightning and thunder. It was ferocious and terrifying. The 3 huge demonic beasts stared at Du Xiaofu with murderous intent. They had never expected such an outcome. In the blink of an eye, that human was actually so ferocious and killed all the remaining people. 3 early-stage holy beasts and many juniors of the 3 clans were killed. How ferocious was that? Especially Long Qi. Qing Long was the future of the 8 Desolation demonic dragon race, but he could only be thrown out to feed the sword. Feng Jin knew very well that the brat's strength had increased explosively again. Back then, when he fought with him in the Beast Alliance, although that brat was abnormal, he was unable to heavily injure him with a single move. It was the same move just now. He just didn't get the upper hand last time, but now he was heavily injured. What, are you done playing? You guys don't seem to be satisfied. Du Xiaofu sneered. He did not hide the killing intent in his eyes. The remaining 3 were the real masters. Join forces and kill this brat. Long Qi shouted sinisterly. He could no longer suppress his anger. His dragon body soared into the sky and swooped down from the void. Feng Jin's killing intent was already monstrous. He gritted his teeth and roared ferociously. Red light surged out of his eyes as if 2 volcanoes were erupting. He spread his wings and covered the void as he pounced towards Du Xiaofu. Rumble! The lightning demonic snake's body did not stop. Wherever it passed, the terrifying power of lightning shattered the void and swept down with rolling lightning. A monstrous aura swept out crazily, enough to shatter everything. A cold light surged in Du Xiaofu's eyes. The golden wings on his back flapped, and the unfettered steps under his feet changed unpredictably. He drifted like a god and disappeared into the void. Evil creature! In the next moment, Du Xiaofu's indifferent voice sounded from behind the lightning demonic snake's huge body. Qi! Qi! Golden light fluctuated, and Du Xiaofu's figure had already appeared behind the lightning demonic snake. At this moment, a monstrous killing intent surged in his golden eyes. The lightning demonic snake was shocked. It quickly turned around and looked at Du Xiaofu's golden eyes. Its heart trembled for no reason, and its beast soul trembled. Holy sword roar! Qi! The sword light swept out from Du Xiaofu's purple-gold heavenly tower in an instant. Complex and mysterious sword moves finally gathered together, but it was only a simple slash. The sword light instantly spread out with the speed of lightning. A simple sword move contained the power to move mountains and seas. It was enough to shake mountains and rivers, crack mountains and crack the earth, and destroy everything. When the sword light appeared, it shone with golden light. Layers of purple gold light bloomed, and dazzling purple gold talisman patterns bloomed. Its aura was domineering and terrifying. The brilliance of the sword light poured down on the earth like a flood dragon soaring into the sky, like a rock soaring into the sky. Under the brilliance, there was a terrible destructive power hidden. In the lightning demonic snake's horrified eyes, Du Xiaofu's sword directly hit its vital point. A long ripple of space collapsed one after another, but it was silent. However, this kind of silence, with only the light flashing, was even more terrifying. In a short moment, the thunder and lightning around the lightning demonic snake were shattered. It seemed to be completely useless in front of Du Xiaofu, and was directly destroyed by the sword light. An invisible sword intent suddenly spread across the sky and tilted into the lightning demonic snake's body. This power seemed to drive the energy of heaven and earth, and the killing intent spread everywhere. At this time, the lightning demonic snake was shocked to find that the power of thunder and lightning in its body was invisible and could not flow. At the same time, a majestic sword intent poured into its body, destroying everything. It could not withstand a single blow. You've also reached the intermediate stage of the Saint Realm? The lightning demonic snake panicked, and its expression changed. It only knew from Feng Jin and Long Qi that this kid was at the early stage of the Saint Realm, but at this moment he was obviously at the intermediate stage of the Saint Realm. The purple gold sword light instantly split open the space and landed directly on the lightning demonic snake. Chila! Chila! In an instant, a sword light crack spread out like a spider web on the lightning demonic snake's vital point, shaking the space and causing violent ripples. Then, its body turned into a bloody mist and scattered in the air. Under the sword light, pitch-black spatial cracks appeared, and the lightning beast soul that was trying to escape was also shattered in the void. The purple gold sword light spread out, causing the surrounding space to become chaotic and shatter inch by inch. Boom! Chila! Feng Jin's attack arrived. The sea of flames surged, containing the Saint Realm's might. Endless pressure spread out, distorting the void. Roar! The dragon's roar was like thunder, shattering the void. With existences like Long Qi and Feng Jin, this was the might of an intermediate stage Saint Beast expert. Every move they made showed how terrifying an intermediate stage Saint Beast expert was. Du Xiaofu's eyes were cold. He shook his arm and used the great golden wings on his back to activate the shaking heaven wings. He slapped it fiercely at Long Qi. Golden light spread out in the sky, and thunder rumbled. Amidst the domineering and unparalleled momentum, there seemed to be a faint shadow of a golden-winged bird. Sword breaking 10,000 miles. Boom! At the same time, Du Xiaofu faced Feng Jin. The purple gold heavenly tower slashed down. The great golden wings swooped down, and the true bird swayed. The sword light was like lightning as it descended from the void. This sword cut through the void, and waves of heaven and earth energy gathered. Quietly, layers of strange fluctuations appeared in the space. The purple gold heavenly tower also lit up brightly, and layers of strange spatial fluctuations around it were invisibly connected to it. There were talisman runes interweaving with each other. Chi-La! The sword light flashed out, and mysterious talisman runes fluctuated. A silent pitch-black crack appeared in the void and instantly spread in front of Feng Jin's huge body. At this moment, Feng Jin's huge eyes were stunned. At this moment, only he knew best that this sword light was accompanied by an invisible force that had messed up the void. This kind of spatial power was not the spatial power that an ordinary saint stage cultivator could control, nor was it the spatial power that was affected by external forces. Instead, it was the true essence of space, the profundity of space. The sword light grew larger in his fierce eyes, and space was bound. Feng Jin's fierce eyes twitched, and shock surged out of him. How did you reach the mid-stage of the saint stage? The aura of death grew in his heart. Feng Jin felt the aura of death. When he fought with Du Xiaofu in the Beast Alliance, he had this thought. If this brat broke through to the mid-stage of the saint stage, he would not be a match for him. But now, this human had actually reached the mid-stage of the saint stage in such a short period of time. Swish! The sword light tore through the air and appeared as if it had sliced the void in half. A pitch-black spatial crack appeared in the void and appeared in the sky. Chi-La-La! An abyss quietly appeared below. Feng Jin's huge body was cut in half from the middle. A rain of blood poured down, and his bones fell. Rumble! Rumble! Wind and thunder resounded from the side. Du Xiaofu's sky-shaking wings and Long Qi's main body had already collided, causing the void to explode and the talisman runes to erupt. Qila, Long Qi's main body was directly sent flying. Blood flowed from his body, and his dragon scales cracked and shattered. His gaze was filled with shock and horror. When he stabilized his body, Long Qi soared into the sky. His aura was much weaker, and his fierce dragon eyes stared straight at Du Xiaofu. His gaze was filled with shock and horror. He had never thought that this human strength would soar again in such a short period of time and step into the mid-stage of the Saint stage. Brat, the Beast Alliance won't let you off. Long Qi's fierce eyes were sharp as he stared at Du Xiaofu. Blood flowed endlessly from his body. It was a tragic sight. You guys don't seem to be able to represent the entire Beast Alliance. No one will know even if I kill you now. Moreover, you guys were the ones who attacked first, Du Xiaofu said. He held the purple-gold heavenly palace in his hand and flapped the golden wings on his back. He was like a humanoid true rock. If you don't kill me, that ancient expert must have an inheritance on him. I'll also give you the ancient sacred artifact. How about I give it to you? Long Qi looked at Du Xiaofu and said, but his eyes were secretly darting around. Killing you seems to be all mine. Du Xiaofu was unmoved. If he let Long Qi go, it would only be harmful. Moreover, he did not intend to let him go. He did not have time to set up the Blood Soul seal on Feng Jin and the Yin Lightning Demonic Snake, so Long Qi had a chance. Human, why do we have to suffer? You won't get any benefits even if I die, right? At most, we'll both suffer. Long Qi gritted his teeth. Indeed, he was no match for this human, but he could still self-destruct his beast soul. He did not believe that this human would not be afraid. Do you want to self-destruct? It won't hurt me. You can try. The corners of Du Xiaofu's mouth curled into a smile. At Long Qi's cultivation level, the self-destruction of his beast soul was indeed different. Just now, he was afraid that Feng Jin and the Yin Lightning Demonic Snake would self-destruct, so he launched a fierce attack and did not give them a chance to self-destruct at all. However, even if he could not set up the Blood Soul seal to make Long Qi self-destruct, Du Xiaofu did not intend to leave Long Qi alive. As for Long Qi's self-destruction, Du Xiaofu did not have it. He was confident that he had the ability to protect himself. However, Long Qi's expression darkened when he heard Du Xiaofu's words. It seemed that this human did not intend to let him go. Then, a cold smile appeared on Long Qi's face. He looked at Du Xiaofu and said, Brat, you did have a chance to kill me just now, but now you missed it. Hee, this guy is stalling for time. Du Xiaofu raised his eyebrows and his expression darkened. Brat, you're dead meat. You're definitely dead meat. Suddenly, Long Qi sneered. It was like a dragon's roar that resounded through the void. Not good, there are more experts coming. Suddenly, Du Xiaofu's expression changed drastically. Under the power of his primordial spirit, he felt a powerful aura rapidly approaching. Swish! Without any hesitation, Du Xiaofu pounced towards the ancient expert's corpse and the black sword. Compared to Long Qi's life, this was undoubtedly more important to Du Xiaofu. Brat, you're courting death. Long Qi did not expect that Brat to still be thinking about the treasure at this time. Although he knew that he was no match for him, he would definitely not allow the treasure to be snatched away by that brat. Moreover, he already knew that the experts of his clan were already on the way and would arrive soon. Chapter 2369. Roar. Long Qi made his move. Light flooded the sky as the 8 Desolation Demon Dragon's shadow rushed out and swept towards Du Xiaofu's back. Du Xiaofu did not turn back. The golden wings on his back flapped as the golden light surged and swept towards the dragon shadow. Boom! Boom! When the two collided, the space around the dragon shadow immediately shattered. A frightening energy storm immediately swept out like a hurricane. The runes shattered. However, when the frightening force and the shattered rune storm spread to a certain range, they instantly came to a halt and were completely annihilated without a sound. Qila! Qila! In the monstrous energy, Long Qi was once again affected. His dragon body was directly pushed back. His eyes were filled with shock as if he did not expect this human to be so strong. Roar! Qi La! As the dragon body was pushed back, Long Qi's bloody body exploded with light. As the dragon's aura spread, the space trembled. The aura on his body had been released to the extreme. An incomparably ferocious gaze shrouded Du Xiaofu's body. The huge dragon body descended from the sky like lightning. Its bloody mouth was accompanied by a dragon's breath that covered the sky and earth. It directly swept towards Du Xiaofu, causing the space along the way to quickly crack open. Qi La! Du Xiaofu had already reached the ground. With a wave of his hand, he swept out and swept the ancient expert's remains and the black sacred weapon into his Qiankuan bag. He did not have time to retract the ancient dragon body. The attack from behind had already arrived. He did not dare to be careless. He turned around and shot out a murderous intent. His hands began to form strange seals, outlining mysterious arcs. As the seals formed, a strange mysterious rune suddenly burst out from his eyes. In the next moment, the mysterious rune spread out. The light in front of the space rippled, causing the entire space to shake for no reason. It contained a majestic primordial spirit power and enveloped Long Qi. Long Qi's body swooped down. Suddenly, his eyes were blinded. His beast soul was suddenly hit by a huge impact, causing his beast soul to tremble. Accompanying it was a huge impact. Primordial spirit attack. Not good. Long Qi was shocked. An all-pervasive essence soul attack came from within the beast soul. He had seen this human use such an attack on Feng Jin when he was in the Beast Alliance. It was very terrifying. Qi Lala, azure light rippled as thousands of blade lights suddenly pressed over from all directions. They immediately tore through Long Qi's tough body, causing his body to crack. Blood flowed out as an all-pervasive soul attack surged into his head. This was Du Xiaofu's Sumeru illusory realm and illusory saber formation. With the terrifying increase in the strength of his primordial spirit, the might of the Sumeru illusory realm and illusory saber formation had also reached a new level. This was an attack based on the primordial spirit. Bastard! Stuff. Suddenly, at this moment, a shout came from the distant sky. The sound waves were like the roar of a dragon, rapidly resounding in the sky. Du Xiaofu had already sensed the incoming aura. He formed a hand seal, and the illusory saber formation erupted. Immediately after, the sound of something breaking through the air resounded in the sky. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. Swoosh. The illusionary saber formation exploded in an instant, and a circle of pitch-black spatial cracks spread everywhere. A terrifying energy storm swept out in all directions in an instant. The terrifying aura of the primordial spirit mixed with the raging saber light spread and wreaked havoc in the sky. It was as if an arc of light had enveloped it, causing spatial ripples to sweep out. Ah! At the same time, Long Qi let out a miserable cry. His huge dragon body was directly turned into a bloody mist and scattered in the air with a rain of blood. Even his beast soul could not escape and was shattered by the saber formation. You killed a disciple of my 8 Desolation Demon Dragon clan. I will skin you alive and grind your bones to dust. A loud shout filled with killing intent sounded like a dragon's roar. When it sounded again, a resplendent figure was already in the sky. Boom! The space in this area suddenly trembled, as though it was about to solidify. A green-clothed elder appeared. His eyes were filled with a ferocious hatred. It was as though 2 dragon phantoms were about to soar into the sky. A resplendent energy pillar immediately rushed towards Du Xiaofu. Ao! Ao! The speed was too fast. The energy pillar instantly transformed into a dragon phantom. It was like a resplendent thunderbolt as it directly appeared in front of Du Xiaofu, shaking the space. Qi La, Du Xiaofu's figure immediately shattered. However, it did not cause the slightest trace of blood. His figure dissipated along with the spatial ripples. Rumble! Ao! Instead, the space where Du Xiaofu was just a moment ago revealed a huge deep spatial hole under the attack of the dragon phantom. After image, Ao. The green-clothed elder instantly appeared in this space. He was wearing a long green robe and his figure was tall. However, he appeared a little shriveled. His head was a little sharp and his eyes were resplendent. However, he was incomparably gloomy. He stared at Du Xiaofu's figure, which was disappearing in front of him, as his killing intent became increasingly dense. Soon after, the elder's eyes quietly twitched when he saw the huge dragon corpse on the square. This was a true dragon corpse left behind by an elite ancient dragons. Du Xiaofu's figure appeared. He stared at the green-clothed elder in front of him with a grave expression. From the vast and mighty aura fluctuation on his body, it was not difficult for Du Xiaofu to guess that this elite from the 8 Desolation Demon Dragon clan, who had suddenly appeared, was far more powerful than Lei Yang. You must be the legendary human. You must die today. Kill! The green-clothed skinny elder stared at Du Xiaofu. His face instantly turned ashen and gloomy. His eyes were filled with resentment. So many elites and juniors from his clan had been killed, including Qing Long. How could he not be furious? They attacked first. What does it have to do with me? If you want to attack, I will definitely uproot your entire 8 Desolation Demon Dragon clan. Du Xiaofu said coldly. However, he was also very fearful. Tsk, little human, how dare you speak such arrogant words? Qi, the green-clothed elder's shriveled figure let out a loud roar. At this moment, his aura surged out in all directions and enveloped the entire space. He might be the strongest elite from the 8 Desolation Demon Dragon clan. Du Xiaofu's eyes trembled. At this moment, the aura on this elder's body gave Du Xiaofu a feeling that he might not be any weaker than the Yu clan's imperial ancestor. With such strength, he was definitely an expert. At this moment, Du Xiaofu's expression was somewhat solemn. This person was much stronger than Lei Yang. Back then, when he fought with Lei Yang, Du Xiaofu did not use his full strength and did not use the Scarlet Horse Monkey's primordial spirit. However, Du Xiaofu was now frowning. The Scarlet Horse Monkey's soul had swallowed the distant Flame Phoenix's soul and was still in the process of refining it. That vast energy couldn't be refined in a short period of time. At this moment, he still couldn't use it. If there was a problem, his primordial spirit would be in big trouble. At this moment, Du Xiaofu knew that with the strength of his physical body, he wouldn't be able to deal with Lei Yang. How could he deal with this green-clothed elder in front of him? Brat, no matter who you are, I will definitely grind your bones to dust today. Long Heng's murderous gaze locked onto Du Xiaofu's body. Unfathomable, too strong. Although the immemorial dragon's body was a treasure, Du Xiaofu was very smart. He had already gained something from it. Knowing that he was no match for Long Heng, the best strategy was to escape. Fighting with him wouldn't bring him any benefits. If he attracted other experts, he wouldn't be able to escape even if he wanted to. Swish! The great peng wings on his back flapped, creating a crack in the void. Du Xiaofu didn't stop and wanted to leave immediately. You want to leave? I'm afraid you won't be able to. Long Heng was the first to notice such a commotion. His face darkened, and after a cold shout, he waved his sleeve. A vast and resplendent energy pierced through the void and engulfed Du Xiaofu. A formless void energy also affected the space around Du Xiaofu, causing the crack in the void to slowly close. Du Xiaofu's expression changed. He didn't expect this elder from the 8 Desolation Demon Dragon tribe to be so powerful. He couldn't escape in time and could only flap his wings to avoid the attack. Swish! The energy pierced through the void in front of his neck. The sharp wind caused the feather armor on his ear to shatter into pieces, causing him to feel waves of pain. Old worm, I gave you face, but you don't want it. Do you really think I'm afraid of you? Du Xiaofu stepped into the void. Golden light filled the air, and the purple-gold heavenly tower in his hand was filled with the sound of wind and thunder. Long Heng was stunned when he heard Du Xiaofu's words. As expected, you're a reckless human. You're only at the mid-sage realm. Although you have some skills, it's definitely not enough in front of me. Fine, I'll let everyone see with their own eyes whether I, Long Heng, am qualified to grind your bones to dust. Ha! Long Heng laughed loudly. His laughter was like thunder, but it was incomparably gloomy. Everyone could hear the anger in his laughter. He had come out of seclusion this time to uncover the greatest secret of the Heaven Burial Wasteland. However, it was already too late when he received Long Chi's call for help. The 8 Desolation Demon Dragon tribe had suffered a great loss. The tribe had never suffered such a great loss before. Now, this mid-sage realm brat didn't even put him in his eyes. He was already extremely infuriated by Du Xiaofu. Du Xiaofu's eyes were filled with coldness as he stared at the gloomy Long Heng. A faint murderous intent flashed in his eyes. Since it was difficult to escape, he could only take one step at a time and slowly think of a way to escape. Of course, Du Xiaofu wasn't arrogant enough to think that he could really fight against Long Heng. Long Heng was too strong. His strength was unfathomable. Du Xiaofu's face turned solemn. However, it wasn't that he couldn't escape. He knew that he would have to put his life on the line today. Only by putting his life on the line would he have a chance to escape. Die! In a short instant, Long Heng's withered and slender body appeared in front of Du Xiaofu. Without any hesitation, a cold shout was emitted from his mouth. With a wave of his green long sleeves, a majestic aura immediately swept out. A huge claw directly grabbed at Du Xiaofu from within his long sleeves. Roar! The mysterious runes in the claw shone brightly. It was as if a flood dragon was rushing out. Its power was terrifying. Umph! Umph! Du Xiaofu raised his eyebrows and snorted. Golden light emerged from the soles of his feet. His figure quickly drifted back and the claw brushed past his shoulder again. In terms of speed, Du Xiaofu wasn't slow. The speed of the golden-winged Great Pring race and the wave-treading carefree steps complemented each other. Moreover, Du Xiaofu had also comprehended the space mystery from the space-splitting 3 swords. It was like adding wings to a tiger. Seeing Du Xiaofu dodge his attacks again and again, Long Heng's expression changed again and again. However, with his cultivation, he could imprison everything with a single move. His speed was also as fast as lightning. It seemed that he was already prepared. After his attack missed, his figure suddenly flashed and appeared directly above Du Xiaofu's head like a ghost. The claw wrapped in the flood dragon's shadows stretched out again. The claw instantly tore 5 terrifying spatial cracks and aimed at Du Xiaofu's head in an extremely tricky and ruthless manner. Blood Soul Seal. Umph! In this flash of lightning, Du Xiaofu's hands suddenly formed a strange seal. A supreme aura spread out and covered his palm with a mysterious seal. It was like the shadow of a golden-winged great peng. Its entire body was golden and resplendent, with silver-yellow electric arcs. A monstrous aura spread out from it, accompanied by flashes of lightning and roars of thunder. The silver-yellow electric arcs suddenly erupted. Roar! Roar! All of a sudden, the roar of a dragon, a tiger, and the roar of a lion came from Du Xiaofu's palm. It was accompanied by a terrifying aura that caused the surrounding space to rumble and tremble. This monstrous aura descended, containing a kind of aura that 10,000 beasts couldn't resist. This kind of aura came from the souls of 10,000 beasts, from their bloodlines. It was as if the strongest of the beasts had descended, wanting to make 10,000 beasts submit and unable to resist. This terrifying aura suddenly burst out. What kind of strange martial technique is this? Umph! Long Heng's expression became a lot more astonished when he felt this enormous aura. That kind of aura was actually suppressing him without him even noticing it. In just an instant, the Blood Soul Seal was like a fierce tiger hunting for its prey. With a loud roar, it ruthlessly smashed into Long Heng's claw. Rumble! Rumble! When the two forces collided, the void rumbled. Long Heng's claw tore through the void, and Du Xiaofu's Blood Soul Seal dissipated. However, Long Heng was also greatly affected. Du Xiaofu's Blood Soul Seal was originally used to control demonic beasts, but it also had the effect of killing demonic beasts. Moreover, it had an absolute suppressive effect on demonic beasts. At the same time, it attacked the demonic beast's beast soul. When using the Blood Soul Seal to control demonic beasts, Du Xiaofu still had to be careful. If he wasn't careful, he would hurt the demonic beast's beast soul. At that time, controlling the demonic beast wouldn't have much effect in the future. But when using the Blood Soul Seal to deal with demonic beasts, Du Xiaofu didn't have to worry too much. He could fully use it. Bam bam. But even though the Blood Soul Seal affected Long Heng, Du Xiaofu still staggered back. The void behind him was also shattered. The blue spirit armor alternated between light and dark. A muffled groan came from his throat, and faint golden blood flowed out from the corner of his mouth. After knocking back Du Xiaofu with one move, Long Heng was still surprised. This human kid is too strange. Strange kid, I can't let him go. Long Heng naturally had his reasons for being able to reach this level. If he let this kid escape today, there would be endless trouble in the future. Without the slightest delay, his figure pounced again and directly punched out. I can only go all out. Go! Du Xiaofu gritted his teeth and quietly formed a hand seal. As the hand seal condensed, the purple lightning talisman on his body swept out. The lightning martial vein covered his whole body in an instant. Lightning intertwined, thunderclouds spread out, and the heaven and earth phenomenon spread, making the space boil and the mountains shake. This kind of aura made Long Heng's figure stagnate. In his stunned gaze, the real rock-like young man's body was filled with an ancient and terrifying aura. The power was shocking. Lightning was entwined, and the golden light was boundless, like a holy sight. The golden light was boundless. At this moment, the lightning martial vein covered Du Xiaofu's body. A tyrannical murderous aura rippled in the sky. An aura that made people's soul palpitate filled the sky, and a majestic supreme pressure spread across the sky. What kind of martial vein is this? Long Heng was shocked. He had never seen such a martial vein. At this moment, Du Xiaofu didn't stop. The hand seals in his hand were already flying, and the afterimages changed, making the surrounding space almost solidified. Mad Dragon Ninth Heaven. Boom! A golden light burst out and rushed into the sky. Under the speed of lightning, it condensed into 9 giant dragon shadows. Roar, 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 roar. 9 huge dragons roared, and the dragon's roar reached the 9 heavens. What Du Xiaofu used was the 9 heavens of the Berserk Dragon of the Universe Dragon Tiger technique, which could increase his strength by a lot in a short period of time. The Mad Dragon Ninth Heaven was essential for escaping. It was a trump card to tyrannize people with the same level of cultivation. Although at Du Xiaofu's level of cultivation, the effect of the Mad Dragon Ninth Heaven was not great, but it was better than nothing. 9 giant dragons appeared, and instantly turned into 9 energy ribbons, like thunder falling into Du Xiaofu's body. Boom! Boom! The aura on Du Xiaofu's body had obviously increased a lot under the power of the 9 dragons, but it was not as terrifying as before. Long Heng was more and more surprised. This human seemed to have endless methods. Du Xiaofu was still standing in the air and had no intention of stopping. His body fluctuated with radiance, and with a thought, ancient runes rippled around his body. Then, with him as the center, the 8 trigrams appeared in the air, enveloping his body. The 8 trigrams mysteries were activated. Qian, Koan, Zhen, Sun, Ken, Li, Zhen, Dui. The 8 directions connected with each other, turning into a resplendent divine ring, making Du Xiaofu seem like a divine spirit in the sky. At this moment, Du Xiaofu's azure spirit armor was covered with purple arcs of electricity, revealing a purple-gold color. Coupled with the 8 trigrams divine ring around him, the invisible aura made people tremble in fear. What a strange pressure. Ah! At this moment, Long Heng couldn't help but change color. He felt that the aura that emanated from the tall and straight armored young man was different from the others. The light was brilliant, and the pressure was quietly released between heaven and earth. This kind of pressure was like the water in the sea, able to bear everything. When the wind was calm and the waves were calm, it made people yearn for it. The heart was vast, and it could nourish all things. But if it was a violent storm, it would raise stormy waves and destroy everything. Long Heng also clearly felt the aura of the incomparably domineering golden rock, as well as the aura of thunder that could kill the heavens and earth. This complicated aura made Long Heng feel uneasy for no reason. Although this uneasiness only lasted for a moment, it was enough to make Long Heng's face change color and his heart become alarmed. At his level of cultivation, he could more or less pry into the mysteries of heaven. This kind of uneasiness made him afraid. This kid is too mysterious and strange. I can't let him live. Long Heng's eyes were already filled with undisguised killing intent. His figure was like lightning as he charged towards Du Xiaofu. Come! Purple gold lightning shot out from Du Xiaofu's eyes as he formed hand seals. The 8 trigrams could connect heaven and earth, containing all things, just like a small world. Kill! Kill! Long Heng didn't want to waste any more time. This kid must die. He couldn't let him live. Killing intent surged in an instant. It was as if a flood dragon was soaring into the sky from the depths of his eyes. Some runes appeared on the green robes on his body, and his aura began to flourish. Boom! Long Heng's body dashed forward, his dragon's might rolling around his body. It was as if an illusory image of the 8 Desolation Demon Dragon was coiled around his body as it swept towards Du Xiaofu. That ferocious and terrifying aura whizzed out, capable of destroying everything in its path. Roar! A dragon's roar could be faintly heard. Wherever Long Heng's figure passed, the surrounding void would shatter and collapse, and the entire abyss would tremble violently. Roar! Du Xiaofu's face was serious as he formed hand seals. The 8 trigrams were filled with the cries of thousands of beasts, lightning descending, a golden rock flapping its wings, and the evolution of mountains and lakes. Wind, rain, thunder, and lightning alternated, the sun, moon, and stars changed, and mountains and rivers moved horizontally. When the 8 trigrams changed, a pressure enveloped the surroundings, causing the dragon shadow around Long Heng to suddenly dim. Long Heng couldn't help but be surprised. When he raised his eyes, the mysterious runes in his resplendent eyes blazed. The gaze in his eyes trembled as if the shadow of a dragon was rushing out. The void shattered, and the shadow of the 8 Desolation Demon Dragon around him shone brightly again. Du Xiaofu stood in the middle of the 8 trigrams with a solemn expression. It was as if a divine spirit was in the sky. Hand seals were constantly forming, and the 8 trigrams were changing, deducing, and deriving at the same time. Du Xiaofu also murmured something. Upper Kuan and Lower Li, earthly fire bright breaks. Upper Qian and Lower Dy, heavenly blessing trigrams breaks. Upper Qian and Lower Li, heavenly fire dual man breaks. As Du Xiaofu's strange hand seals formed one after another, the 8 trigrams underwent a myriad of changes, and a vast pressure was revealed from the void. Rumble! Suddenly, lightning and stars appeared in the void between heaven and earth. Rolling flames burned, and mountains and rivers moved. The void shattered, and a destructive aura shrouded this part of heaven and earth. The entire void between heaven and earth seemed to be affected at this moment. The earth quaked, the mountains shook, and the heaven and earth resonated. The resplendent runes were like the sea, and stormy waves were surging. Under this terrifying force of heaven and earth, the shadow of the 8 Desolation Demon Dragon around Long Heng began to dim again, and cracks began to appear. Heaven above and earth tremors, heavenly thunder breaks. Boom! Du Xiaofu's hand seals were still changing, and the 8 trigrams void diagram was once again surging with waves. Lightning flashed, thunder rumbled, and heavenly thunder rumbled. Runes intertwined with each other, crossing the universe. Crack crack. Finally, the shadow of the 8 Desolation Demon Dragon around Long Heng began to crack, and the mysterious runes began to crack. The void around him began to crumble inch by inch, and was annihilated. Long Heng's expression changed more and more, and his expression turned completely serious. Dragon shakes the 8 Desolation. Boom! Long Heng made his move. The shadow of the 8 Desolation Demon Dragon rushed out again, crossing the void. The mysterious runes on the runes shone brightly as it pierced through the 8 trigrams void diagram and rushed towards Du Xiaofu. The shadow of the dragon turned the void into a pitch-black void. The dragon shadow was incomparably dazzling, and suddenly appeared in front of Du Xiaofu. Its aura surged and poured out in torrents, and was incomparably vast. Bam 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 bam. The frightening power swept out, and the void within the void 8 trigrams that Du Xiaofu had condensed exploded. The void was crumbling. Chapter 2370. Screech. Screech. Du Xiaofu condensed the supreme beast energy of the golden-winged rock race and merged it with the lightning martial vein. His aura changed abruptly. Amidst the thunder and lightning in the void, his aura was incomparably domineering. The aura of execution suddenly swept out. A huge purple-gold thunder rock appeared behind him to fight against the former. The purple-gold thunder rock and the 8 desolation demonic dragon phantom collided in an instant. Amidst the rumbling sound of space shattering, energy runes swept out like waves, drowning the void. Du Xiaofu's body was enveloped in the purple-gold thunder rock. His eyes were like purple suns as he flapped his wings and soared into the sky. With the support of the 8 trigrams and the support of the 8 trigrams, the void rumbled like thunder. This was Du Xiaofu's all-out attack. The blazing golden light and the purple-gold lightning drowned the void. This was a bloody fight. Du Xiaofu was going all out. Rumble! The sky was filled with broken runes. The huge purple-gold thunder rock's body exploded within the 8 trigrams. A large area of the void collapsed, revealing pitch-black spatial cracks that spread out like a spider web above the void. Du Xiaofu spat out golden blood from his mouth. It condensed and did not dissipate. Qi-la! Du Xiaofu's body was sent flying. The blue spirit armor on his body dimmed and shattered. Traces of blood seeped out and flowed. He finally could not help but spit out a large mouthful of blood into the sky. Du Xiaofu stabilized his body with the golden rock wings on his back. The 8 trigrams around him dimmed. Long Heng's figure also staggered back 2 steps. Although it was only 2 steps, it was enough to make Long Heng completely shocked. A human in the middle stage of the Sage Realm who seemed to have just broken through to the middle stage of the Sage Realm not long ago had such terrifying combat strength. He was even able to push him back. If this news were to spread, how shocking would it be? Human, you will definitely die today. Long Heng's eyes were gloomy. This human was too strange. He did not want to waste any more time and could not give this human any more chances. As his voice fell, a bright energy burst out from his hand again. Rumble! The terrifying energy caused the space to vibrate and emit muffled sounds. In an instant, a huge palm print appeared. The palm print carried a vast amount of energy. It whizzed down and covered half of the space. The collapsed space made cracking sounds and enveloped Du Xiaofu as well. It was obvious that Long Heng wasn't holding anything back this time. Du Xiaofu's expression changed, but there was no fear on his face. With a shake of his arm, the image of the 8 trigrams gushed out from his palm and rapidly expanded. Ancient runes flew out and appeared in the void like a screen of light. The moment the 2 palm prints and the 2 forces collided, the space exploded with a shocking sonic boom. Bang bang! Without much movement, Du Xiaofu's body fell directly from the void. The feather armor on his palm was broken, and blood spurted out. The blue spirit armor on his body was broken, and he spat out a large mouthful of blood. Like a meteorite, he smashed into the ground below, causing rocks to fly into the sky and the earth to shake. Long Heng didn't stop. His eyes were filled with murderous intent. A stream of energy came crashing down like a bolt of lightning. Crackle! A purple-gold sword ray instantly shot out from the rubble on the ground. Mysterious talisman runes fluctuated, and a silent pitch-black crack appeared in the void. It was accompanied by an invisible force that disrupted the void, and it instantly blocked the path of the energy stream. Crackle! The sword light was strange and mysterious. It was powerful enough to kill a mid-stage holy beast, but it couldn't stop Long Heng's attack. It was destroyed in an instant. A pitch-black spatial crack appeared in the void, and the earth shook violently. Kid, you want to run? Dream on. Suddenly, Long Heng seemed to have sensed something. Blazing runes swept across the sky and imprisoned the entire space. This kind of imprisonment sealed the sky and earth. There was no way to escape. Bastard, what's going on? Long Heng's expression changed. His eyes turned cold. His figure turned into a bolt of lightning and burrowed into the rubble that Du Xiaofu had just crashed into. The surrounding space gradually calmed down, leaving only the invisible pressure emanating from the massive corpse of the primordial dragon tribe powerhouse. This kind of shocking battle lasted for a long time. It was so shocking that it attracted the attention of other experts. Swoosh, swoosh, several figures appeared in the void. When they saw the enormous dragon corpse in front of the enormous palace, their expressions changed drastically. An expert of the primordial dragons. Someone exclaimed. There was definitely an inheritance in this dragon corpse. It might even be able to refine the blood essence of a true dragon. This was a huge opportunity. Rumble, the earth shook and the mountains shook. Rubble shot up into the sky. Long Heng's figure rushed out. His face was extremely gloomy and his old face was ashen. Do you think you can get your hands on the treasures of the primordial dragons? You're courting death. Long Heng shouted coldly. He waved his hand and shattered the void. Before the experts could react, they were sent flying. A few of them turned into a bloody mist. They were humans. There were also a few figures who were only injured. They were demon beast experts. I'll spare your lives this time. Find this human for me. Otherwise, I'll take your lives at any time. The 8 Desolation Demon Dragon clan will reward anyone who finds this human. As soon as he finished speaking, Long Heng formed a seal with his hands. Mysterious runes appeared in the void in front of him. A strange phenomenon appeared and a powerful aura filled the air. Then, a human figure appeared in the void. It looked like Du Xiaofu. He was wearing a blue spirit armor and had a pair of golden wings. He looked majestic and domineering. Whoosh! Long Heng's hand seals changed, and several rays of light shot out. Those were several scrolls, and Du Xiaofu's figure was engraved within them. Even though they were separated by the scrolls, Du Xiaofu still exuded a domineering aura. This was a technique of the 8 Desolation Demon Dragon clan. It was very strange, but it had a wonderful effect. Long Heng was using it to imitate Du Xiaofu. Once you find this human, tear these scrolls to shreds. I will know your whereabouts. At the same time, spread the news that whoever finds this human will be rewarded. Otherwise, you know the consequences. Long Heng's voice was cold. He threw the scrolls in front of the demon beast experts. Yes, my lord. The demon beast experts didn't dare to stay any longer after escaping death. They immediately left in a hurry. Kid, you can't escape. Long Heng looked up, his eyes cold to the extreme. He hadn't thought that the brat would be able to escape right under his nose. That human brat seemed to have some kind of mysterious method that allowed him to break through his seals. 6 hours later, Du Xiaofu's figure appeared in a deep cave. The surroundings were barren. When Du Xiaofu's figure appeared, he spat out a mouthful of blood. His body was drenched in blood. There were tears on his purple robe, and blood was seeping out. Du Xiaofu's mind scanned the surroundings. He let out a sigh of relief. His hair was messy and covered his face. It had been a long time since he suffered such a serious injury. In the end, he relied on the innate ability of the Scarlet Horse Monkey's bloodline soul to break through Long Heng's seal and escape from the underground. Du Xiaofu had already made preparations from the very beginning. However, if he didn't fight to the death, Long Heng would definitely be on his guard. If that happened, it would be difficult for him to escape from underground. He only had one chance. As Du Xiaofu expected, Long Heng was too strong in the sky. It was almost impossible for him to escape. He could only escape underground. The Scarlet Horse Monkey's bloodline soul had a wonderful effect. Long Heng was obstructed a lot underground. It was also because he caught Du Xiaofu off guard that he had the chance to escape. This old man is really strong. Du Xiaofu smiled bitterly as he wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth. Long Heng was definitely the strongest opponent he had ever faced. Compared to Lei Yong, Long Heng wasn't just a little bit stronger. Even Du Xiaofu was unable to determine Long Heng's exact cultivation level. It seems like I have to be more careful in the burial wasteland. Du Xiaofu's eyes narrowed. Although the experts from the Eternal Tomb like legalism, school of vertical and horizontal, school of famers and dragons couldn't enter this wasteland, there were some super experts from the human race and beast alliance that weren't much weaker than those from the Eternal Tomb. He was lucky this time. If he were to encounter them again, he might not be so lucky. Many people from the desolate country might have entered the burial wasteland. Du Xiaofu couldn't help but worry. After tidying up his clothes, Du Xiaofu found a secluded place. He set up a restriction and entered the desolate ancient space. He didn't want Ouyang Shuang and Dai Xingyu to worry. "You're injured. Are you okay?" In the desolate ancient space, Ouyang Shuang and Dai Xingyu's expressions changed when they saw Du Xiaofu's pale face and unconcealable dispirited aura. They were very worried. It was obvious that he had suffered a serious injury. "I met an old man. It's not a big deal. I just need some time to heal. I also gained something." A smile appeared on Du Xiaofu's pale face. He waved his hand and took the body of the ancient expert out of his Jiankuan pouch. As the ancient expert appeared, an ancient aura was faintly discernible. After confirming that there was no danger, Du Xiaofu stepped forward and carefully examined the body of the ancient expert. The ancient expert had not leveled up, but his face was still ruddy. There was still an indistinct aura around him. Du Xiaofu guessed that since the ancient expert and the ancient dragons had appeared together, they had obviously gone through a fierce battle. In the end, neither of them could do anything to the other. In the end, both of them fell here. Countless years had passed, and there were still traces of the earth-shattering battle. This made Du Xiaofu's heart tremble. If this was true, it was enough to prove how terrifying the ancient experts were. During the Great Tribulation of the dragons and phoenixes, the strongest in the world were the dragons, the Qilins, and the phoenixes. At that time, humans could only survive in the cracks. However, this expert was able to perish together with the ancient dragons. His strength was terrifying. Du Xiaofu carefully examined the body of the ancient expert. He wanted to know if there was any inheritance on this expert. This was the most important treasure of an ancient expert. "Senior, please excuse me." "Senior." Looking at the body of the ancient expert before him, Du Xiaofu hesitated and pondered for a while. After bowing respectfully, his hand's seals changed. A silver-gold arc of lightning pulsed between his eyebrows. Accompanied by the power of his soul, it immediately landed on the forehead of the ancient expert. Just as Du Xiaofu's Yuan spirit landed on the ancient expert's forehead, the ancient expert's body suddenly trembled. In an instant, talisman runes swept out and a vast aura seemed to come alive. The surrounding space instantly froze. Buzz buzz. Even the pitch-black longsword was filled with deep black runes. A sharp aura fluctuated, and light surged. It was as if the sword light was about to erupt at any time. In an instant, the tightly shut eyes of the ancient expert opened. The light in his eyes was like a ray of light, and then it enveloped Du Xiaofu. Du Xiaofu didn't have time to react. The light was very strange, and its speed was too fast. He only felt a blur in front of his eyes, and then his surroundings were filled with a strange, dazzling light. He couldn't look at it directly, so he had to close his eyes. "Xiaofu! Master! Master!" Ouyang Shuang and Zhong Yuan's expressions changed drastically. "Don't worry, it should be fine," Dai Xingyu said. She felt that this aura did not seem to have any evil intentions. When Du Xiaofu came back to his senses, he felt that his mind had appeared in a space filled with dazzling light. This space was filled with a fierce and vast aura. The world has changed. It's like waking up from a dream. Finally, someone has come. This voice was low and deep, like the melodious sound of an ancient bell. While Du Xiaofu was puzzled, mysterious runes appeared in the void. The light was dazzling, and an extremely illusory figure vaguely appeared. This figure was tall and straight, wearing a loose robe. His eyes were as deep as the sea, and there was a terrifying aura that spread out, shaking people's souls. He floated in front of Du Xiaofu, and was exactly the same as the ancient expert outside. It was clearly just a phantom, and Du Xiaofu couldn't feel any pressure from it. However, Du Xiaofu felt as if his entire body had been frozen solid. It was as if he couldn't resist at all. This kind of pressure was much stronger than the pressure that Long Heng, the Yu family's imperial ancestor, and even the ancient emperor had felt in the past. The Great Tribulation has begun, and the heaven-shaking war has begun. Dragons and phoenixes dance, and the Qilin is broken. This is a great tribulation, but also an opportunity. I hope the human race can seize this opportunity. However, this saint cannot escape from this tribulation. It is difficult to describe in a few words. Become my disciple, and treat my divine weapon, 9 Tribulations well. My name is 9 Tribulations Heavenly Saint. The melodious voice did not fluctuate at all, and directly resounded in the depths of Du Xiaofu's mind. Every word could beat Du Xiaofu's soul. Boom! Just as the melodious voice fell, the illusory figure fluctuated, and turned into a bright light of energy. Following a huge wave, it swept into Du Xiaofu's mind and disappeared. When Du Xiaofu came back to his senses, he also found that this was a huge amount of energy pouring into his body, accompanied by a huge amount of information in his mind. This huge amount of information was the inheritance of a 9 Tribulations heavenly saint. This surprised Du Xiaofu. At the same time, Du Xiaofu was surprised to discover that there was a powerful and surging energy pouring into him from within this enormous aura. It was like the purest profound qi and yuan spirit energy, and it directly spread into his body. There was no need to refine it at all. This is the benefit of the inheritance. Du Xiaofu was pleasantly surprised that he had already woken up. He immediately sat down cross-legged and began to accept the huge benefits brought by the ancient inheritance. After suffering heavy injuries, Du Xiaofu was about to heal his injuries. At this moment, this huge amount of energy was undoubtedly equivalent to consuming a large amount of sacred medicine. It circulated in his body and began to nourish his body, restoring the profound qi in his God's gate. Sitting cross-legged, the golden-winged rock clan's cultivation technique automatically circulated. The aura on Du Xiaofu's body began to surge, and his entire body was enveloped by a mysterious golden circle of light. Walala, the golden circle of light fluctuated with runes, and a vast and ancient aura spread out, causing Ouyang Shuang, Zhong Yuan, and Dai Xingyu to feel their hearts skip a beat. Big Brother Xiaofu has obtained this ancient inheritance. Dai Xingyu was pleasantly surprised. This was Big Brother Xiaofu had obtained the ancient inheritance. Master seems to have obtained a huge benefit again. Zhong Yuan felt that Du Xiaofu's aura was rising in a straight line. His eyes flashed and his face was somewhat stunned. Master's strength had already improved to a terrifying level, and now his aura seemed to have clearly increased. This inheritance was probably not simple. In the dark and quiet mountain range, killing intent covered the heavens and the earth. There was a mountain range that was exposed above the clouds, floating in a dark red sea of clouds. Mountain waves surged, layer upon layer. Looking down from the top, the large mountain range was dark and boundless. In this mountain range, around a towering mountain peak, there were cliffs that seemed to have been carved by knives and axes. The huge mountain peak was straight up and down. At this moment, in front of the mountain peak, there was a deep valley that was shockingly quiet and cold. In front of the valley, a fairy-like girl appeared. Her beautiful face had eyebrows that were like jade feathers, and her skin was as white as snow. Her hair was tied into a simple bun behind her head, and she wore a tight green outfit that outlined the exquisite curves of her tall and graceful body. "It's here," on the girl's fairy-like face, a ripple of joy flashed across her glassy eyes. Then, her figure drifted like a deity, and she instantly entered the deep valley. Time passed slowly. The commotion that came from the Sky Burial Deathland had started for quite some time, attracting all the experts to enter. Generally speaking, even Saint Realm cultivators would not dare to be careless in a place like the Sky Burial Deathland. At the very least, only Domain Realm cultivators would dare to enter. However, there were still some honorable realm cultivators who were not afraid of death, and even some creatures with lower cultivation levels who wanted to take the risk. However, the reality was cruel. Those who were not strong enough would lose their lives after a little attempt. In the outside world, cracks had appeared in the ancient desolate fearsome ground for quite some time. It was recorded that cracks had appeared in the ancient desolate fearsome ground twice within half a year. However, no one was certain this time around. It was said that those who entered the ancient wilderness Deathland would automatically be pushed out when the crack closed, as long as they did not encounter any danger in the ancient wilderness Deathland. There was no need to worry that they would not be able to come out when the crack closed. Chapter 2371. In the Divine Domain, this place was extremely secretive. No one in the tricontinent Kyushu knew about it. In front of a mountain peak, Myemeng King and Thunderhawk King sat cross-legged as if they were waiting for something. Boom! In a misty space, for some unknown reason, the space suddenly trembled, following which an extremely powerful aura rose. Accompanied by the sound of lightning and thunder, a vast amount of natural energy on the mountain peak continuously gathered and poured in like a surging tide. Within the space, there were purple lightning fluctuations as an enormous aura continued to rise. The rising aura did not last for long. In the void, an enormous amount of energy suddenly burst out like a volcanic eruption, following which the energy covered the sky and earth as it surged out, causing the entire space to tremble. On the mountain peak, Thunderhawk King and Myemeng King, who were sitting cross-legged, opened their eyes at the same time. There were light fluctuations in their eyes as they revealed a slight smile. Swish! Swish! A moment later, from the mountain peak, a tall and fierce figure broke through the air, bringing along a sharp killing aura. It was Du Yunlong of the Du family. Congratulations to the second young master for breaking through again. Congratulations. Looking at Du Yunlong and sensing the aura on his body, Thunderhawk King and Myemeng King smiled faintly as they were inwardly moved. The disciples of the Du family were not ordinary existences. Compared to third brother, my breakthrough speed and cultivation is not worth mentioning. After such a long time, I'm afraid that third brother has improved again. Sigh. Du Yunlong smiled bitterly as he asked Thunderhawk King and Myemeng King, "Can we get news of third brother?" The crack at the entrance of the ancient desolate fearsome grounds seems to be getting bigger. However, there is no news of the owner. It's very peaceful outside now. Thunderhawk King said. Murabai, Stone, where are the generals? Du Yunlong pondered for a moment before continuing to ask. They have also made breakthroughs and have gone inside to temper themselves. Myemeng King replied. Then I'll go and temper myself again. Du Yunlong nodded. As his voice faded, his figure had already disappeared from the spot. Within the desolate ancient space, Du Xiaofu received the inheritance of a 9 tribulations heavenly sage. How could he let go of such an opportunity? This was a great opportunity. He greedily absorbed the boundless energy within the inheritance, circulating the cultivation method of the golden rock race to refine it for his own use. This kind of pure energy was much faster than Du Xiaofu's refining of any kind of energy. It was like the purest Xian Qi, which could be refined slightly and become one's own Xian Qi. At the same time, in his mind's Naiwan palace, Du Xiaofu's redbone horse monkey essence soul was sitting on the 9 revolutions divine Lei Lian and refining it. His essence soul's strength was slowly rising. Within the desolate ancient space, Du Xiaofu's body was wrapped in a dense golden halo. The mysterious runes fluctuated, and there were countless strands of energy that followed the golden runes. It was extremely mysterious as it shuttled back and forth on the surface of Du Xiaofu's body, causing the void to fluctuate. Within the inheritance, Du Xiaofu obtained a large amount of information. That was the inheritance of a 9 tribulations heavenly sage's life. Du Xiaofu immersed himself in it, carefully comprehending it. Fortunately, there was enough time within the desolate ancient space. As the energy from the inheritance was refined, Du Xiaofu's aura rose directly. Walala! The aura that emanated from Du Xiaofu's body became more and more vigorous, causing Zhong Yuan, who was watching from the side, to be dumbfounded. Can the cultivation of the intermediate stage of the sage realm be improved like this? Zhong Yuan smacked his lips, unable to recover from his shock. This was too inconceivable. The cultivation of the intermediate stage of the Sage Beast realm could still be improved so rapidly. This was a visible improvement. Zhong Yuan's breakthrough from the initial stage of the Sage Beast realm to the peak of the initial stage of the Sage Beast realm was already very fast. Moreover, he had also obtained a huge opportunity, but it still took more than 1,000 years. But now, seeing Du Xiaofu's aura rise in a straight line, how could Zhong Yuan not be dumbfounded? Nobody knew when it started, but a vast aura fluctuation spread out from Du Xiaofu's body like a wave. The golden light spread out and finally wrapped around Du Xiaofu's body. It was like a golden spirit snake that continuously extended and burrowed into Du Xiaofu's body through the pores of his pores. It was an unstoppable cycle. This strange change took a total of 3 days. In just 3 days, Zhong Yuan, Ouyang Shuang, and Dai Xingyu were all shocked. In 3 days, Du Xiaofu's aura seemed to have risen in a straight line and directly climbed to the intermediate stage of the Sage realm, close to the advanced stage. Walala! As an increasingly powerful aura gushed out, the surface of Du Xiaofu's body gradually began to glow with golden light. In the end, it was as if there was an illusory figure of a golden-winged roc soaring from his back. Zhong Yuan, Ouyang Shuang, and Dai Xingyu could clearly feel that the aura of Du Xiaofu's Yuan spirit was soaring, and it caused the surrounding space to ripple. Gee! The roc's cry pierced through the clouds and cracked rocks. The golden-winged roc slowly spread out with Du Xiaofu as the center. Its aura was extremely domineering, and it greatly affected Zhong Yuan, Ouyang Shuang, and Dai Xingyu. Don't tell me he's going to break through to the advanced stage of the Sage realm. Zhong Yuan could not help but tremble. This kind of cultivation improvement was a little too terrifying. He could only watch as his master's aura climbed. Another few days passed. Under Ouyang Shuang, Dai Xingyu, and Zhong Yuan's dumbfounded gazes, Du Xiaofu's aura had climbed to the advanced stage of the intermediate stage of the Sage realm. At this moment, the surrounding space surged, and the majestic aura of energy soared into the sky. The pressure was indescribably terrifying. In front of Du Xiaofu, the pitch-black treasured sword in the hands of that expert seemed to have sensed something. It started to emit sounds of wind and thunder as black runic inscriptions shot up into the sky, exuding an overwhelming pressure. The divine weapon seemed to be awakening. Finally, the surrounding movements began to calm down, and Du Xiaofu's rising aura also began to slowly withdraw. With his eyes tightly shut, Du Xiaofu's slowly withdrawn aura still fluctuated faintly. After a long while, his eyelashes trembled slightly. Boom! A mouthful of turbid air was exhaled from his body, and a wave of aura swept out from his body. It shook the void and caused the space to ripple. Then, Du Xiaofu suddenly opened his eyes, and golden light shot out from his deep eyes. It was as if 2 golden ribbons swept through the void and rushed out, making it impossible for people to look directly at them. Approaching the intermediate stage of the Sage realm, the harvest is not shallow. Great! Du Xiaofu quietly withdrew the light in his eyes. He felt the vast profound energy in his divine gate, and the vast power of his primordial spirit in his mind, and the corners of his mouth curved into a satisfied smile. Du Xiaofu's consciousness peeked into his body, and he felt that the profound energy and primordial spirit in his body had increased by several times compared to before. This speed made him very satisfied. The inheritance of a 9-tribulation heavenly saint had brought him such great benefits. Moreover, he had finally completely refined the soul of the distant sky flame phoenix during this period of time. Du Xiaofu knew that there was a huge gap between the intermediate stage of the Sage realm and the later stages of the intermediate stage of the Sage realm. Now that he had obtained the inheritance of a 9-tribulation heavenly saint, it had brought him such great benefits in terms of cultivation, and he had improved so quickly. Du Xiaofu was amazed. Feeling his improvement, Du Xiaofu closed his eyes again, and his primordial spirit carefully peeked into his body. After seeing the benefits that his cultivation had skyrocketed, Du Xiaofu was a little worried that his foundation would be shaken. Fortunately, after Du Xiaofu carefully peeked into his body, he did not seem to be affected. Everything was normal, and his original injuries had been healed. The vigorous, profound energy in his body and the vast power of his primordial spirit in his Niwen palace gave him an incomparably comfortable feeling. This was the most irresistible temptation for cultivators. Then, Du Xiaofu checked the inheritance in his Niwen palace. There were many martial techniques in the inheritance of a 9-tribulation heavenly saint. The most important ones were a set of cultivation methods and a set of sword techniques. The sword technique was called the 9-tribulation sword technique, and it was a terrifying set of sword techniques. From the cultivation information, he knew that when the 9-tribulation sword technique was cultivated to a certain level, one could slay dragons and phoenixes. Du Xiaofu did not doubt this at all. He had seen the primordial dragons die beside a 9-tribulation heavenly saint. Qi-la! Du Xiaofu opened his eyes again, and his pupils were clear again. At this moment, the body of the primordial expert had withered, and his face, which was originally slightly ruddy, was sunken and had completely lost its luster. After receiving your inheritance, I am naturally your disciple. Greetings, Master. Master! Looking at the remains of the primordial expert in front of him, Du Xiaofu knelt down and respectfully kowtowed 3 times. Buzz, buzz. The 9-tribulation sword kept emitting the sound of wind and thunder, and the mysterious black runes flickered with a fierce aura. After we get out, I will find a place for you to rest in peace. Du Xiaofu stood up. After receiving the inheritance of a 9-tribulation heavenly saint, it was a great deal for him to bow to his master. After he got out, he would also bury his master in peace. However, Du Xiaofu was secretly moved by his master's title of 9-tribulations heavenly saint. The cultivation of the saint plane was divided into the early stage, the middle stage, the late stage, and then the heavenly saint. His master's title was 9-tribulations heavenly saint. Du Xiaofu wondered if his master had reached the legendary heavenly saint plane. Congratulations, Master. Your cultivation has improved a lot. Congratulations. Xingyuan Qian came to Du Xiaofu's side and was still in shock. Du Xiaofu smiled faintly and looked at the 9-tribulation sword. With a wave of his hand, the 9-tribulation sword immediately flew into his hand. The sound of wind and thunder resounded, and the mysterious black runes seemed to be alive, and its aura surged in the void. A divine weapon, beyond the category of ordinary divine weapons. Du Xiaofu's eyes trembled. The 9-tribulation sword was not comparable to ordinary divine weapons. It was probably comparable to the current purple gold heavenly palace. It was just that the purple gold heavenly palace was connected to him and could continue to evolve, but the 9-tribulation sword could not. Unless one day he reached a monstrous level of cultivation and with the help of heaven-defying refining materials, he might be able to reforge the 9-tribulation sword and upgrade it again. Chapter 2372. Don't worry, there will be a time when you reappear in the world and shine again. Du Xiaofu murmured softly as he looked at the 9-tribulation sword. It was a pity that he had the purple gold heavenly palace. Although the 9-tribulation sword was a divine weapon, it would undoubtedly be drowned in its light in his hands. If it was swallowed by the purple gold heavenly palace, he would have let down his master and drowned out a divine weapon. Subsequently, Du Xiaofu could only keep the weapon in his Qingkuan bag for the time being. He would make a decision later. As for the cultivation method and 9-tribulations sword art that he had obtained from the 9-tribulations heavenly saint's inheritance, Du Xiaofu was unable to practice that cultivation method. He could only practice the cultivation method of the great golden-winged Peng clan. As for the 9-tribulations sword art, Du Xiaofu had comprehended a little. This 9-tribulations sword art was not inferior to the sky-splitting 3 swords. However, he had not successfully comprehended the sky-splitting 3 swords. Biting off more than one could chew was not good enough. Du Xiaofu did not plan to comprehend the 9-tribulations sword art again in the short term. When everything was in order, Du Xiaofu smiled in satisfaction. He had gained a lot this time. At least his cultivation had skyrocketed. What he needed most now was to increase his cultivation. Congratulations, big brother Xiaofu. Dai Xingyu was very happy. Seeing Du Xiaofu's huge improvement made her happier than her own breakthrough. Ouyang Shuang was also relieved at this moment. Just a little improvement. Du Xiaofu smiled and peeked with his consciousness. The ground wolf, ice toad, and the others were still healing in a corner. He did not disturb them. After tidying up, he brought Ouyang Shuang, Dai Xingyu, and the demonic ape out of the ancient desolate space. Du Xiaofu's strength had once again skyrocketed, giving him a boost of confidence. During the battle with Long Heng not too long ago, the red-bone stallion monkey's Yuan spirit had been busy refining the distant sky flame phoenix's energy within his body and had been unable to participate in the battle. At this moment, the strength of his Yuan spirit had once again skyrocketed. If he were to meet Long Heng again, Du Xiaofu reckoned that he would at least have a greater chance of escaping. However, Du Xiaofu did not think that he had the strength to contend with Long Heng. That Du Xiaofu knew that Long Heng was unfathomable. He had not even used his true form. With his current strength, Du Xiaofu would be able to escape if he met with Long Heng. Du Xiaofu's was that Long's? However, Du Xiaofu was buried heaven's dead heaven deathlands in's heaven, burial deathland. However, in order to avoid encountering opponents like Long Heng and Lei Yang, Du Xiaofu had no choice but to use the face-changing divine art. He changed his appearance again. He stirred the aura of a demonic beast on his body and concealed himself as a member of the beast race. If someone had cultivated the face-changing divine art, it would be difficult for them to conceal themselves as a member of the beast race. However, Du Xiaofu was an exception. His body was similar to a demonic beast. Along the way, relying on the red-bone horse monkey meridian spirit's innate talent, Du Xiaofu obtained 2 more sacred artifacts and several mysterious bones. However, none of them were from the ancient era. One day later, in an ancient ruin, there were broken walls and ruins, leaving behind half of a ruined city. Many figures had gathered in the city. There were actually humans and beasts. There were also some hawking voices, selling cultivation resources. This isn't strange at all. The Heaven Burial Deathland is very big. There are several places like this for cultivation. Even if people have grudges against each other, they won't fight here. This is an unwritten rule. Otherwise, they will be besieged and shamed by everyone. In these places, there are people who sell precious medicines, treasures, and so on. They can also exchange information or form groups to explore dangerous places in search of opportunities. Pai Yuan explained to Du Xiaofu, Ouyang Shuang, and Dai Xingyu. Du Xiaofu walked into the ruined city. It looked like a small post station. However, it was bustling with people. Du Xiaofu's keen consciousness probed around and discovered that several experts of the initial stage of the Sage Realm were hiding among them. Do you want a map? It's rumored that this ancient map contains a great secret. Perhaps you can find the biggest mystery in the Heaven Burial Deathland. A shifty-eyed middle-aged man stepped forward. His eyes swiveled as he fished out a very ancient-looking scroll and waved it in front of Du Xiaofu and Zhong Yuan. Subsequently, his gaze involuntarily landed on Ouyang Shuang and Dai Xingyu. Such beautiful women could not be found in the outside world. Scram! Pai Yuan waved his fist and shouted. As a wandering cultivator, he had seen everything. If there really was such an ancient map, it would have been snatched by others long ago. The shifty-eyed middle-aged man sensed that Pai Yuan wasn't someone to be trifled with. He immediately left resentfully. It's these 3 people. If we can find any one of them, we'll be able to obtain great benefits. This person is the one that Holy Ancestor Long Heng of the 8 Desolation Demon Dragon clan wants. It's rumored that he's called the Rock Emperor, also known as the Demon King. He's caused havoc in the human race's holy city, left his name in the holy temple, and overpowered all the peerless experts. He's also killed many experts from the beast race in the Beast Alliance. A commotion could be heard from the crowd. A group of people gathered in front, discussing animatedly. Big Brother Xiaofu, they seem to be talking about you, Dai Xingyu said with a smile. Let's go and have a look. Du Xiaofu smiled bitterly. Anyway, he'd already changed his appearance with the divine art of disguise and walked into the crowd. Then, Du Xiaofu was surprised to see a stone wall that was filled with light. There was a portrait of himself wearing a blue spirit armor on it. It was even emitting a faint domineering aura. It's little Huang and little Ba. When Ouyang Shuang and Dai Xingyu followed Du Xiaofu into the crowd, their expressions changed. There were two other portraits beside Du Xiaofu's portrait. One of them was a little girl about 5 or 6 years old. Under her long eyelashes were a pair of big, beautiful eyes that made one's heart throb. There was also a half-grown boy. Although he wasn't very old, his temperament was outstanding. His body was tall and straight like a baby rock, but his features were delicate and pretty. And this little girl and young man, who else could they not know Du Xiaohuang and Du Xiaoba? At this moment, Du Xiaofu's heart trembled violently. He looked at Ouyang Shuang in shock. It's said that this little girl and boy are very young, but their strength is outstanding. The little girl is even an extinct supreme and emperor. They might have obtained a pure-blooded phoenix egg. That's a priceless treasure. Now, both the human race and the beast race are looking for them. A pure-blooded phoenix egg? That's a priceless treasure. If the human race obtains it, they can refine the purest phoenix blood essence. If the beast race obtains it, they can obtain the supreme phoenix bloodline inheritance. Those two little guys' luck is pretty good. However, they've attracted a terrible disaster. I'm afraid they won't be able to obtain such a priceless treasure. The crowd was discussing animatedly. Whoever found these 3 people would be rewarded handsomely. After Du Xiaofu recovered from his shock, his expression became more and more solemn. Hey, these 2 battle servants are not bad. I wonder if they can be exchanged? Suddenly, someone's gaze landed on Ouyang Shuang and Dai Xingyu. It was a middle-aged man who appeared to be in his 40s. There were many battle servants and experts following behind him, all of them exuding a powerful aura. This middle-aged man himself had a terrifying aura as he asked Du Xiaofu and Ouyang Shuang, "Do you want to die?" Ouyang Shuang's temper wasn't very good. Immediately, the expression on her peerless face turned cold. She stared straight at the middle-aged man and scolded. "You're a fierce woman. You're to my liking. Name your price. My 4-winged demon snake clan wants these 2 battle servants." The middle-aged man stared at Ouyang Shuang with a burning gaze. In the Beast Alliance, the 4-winged demon snake clan couldn't be compared to the 8 Desolation demon dragon clan. However, it was definitely a large clan. The middle-aged man was certain that ordinary demonic beast clans wouldn't dare to go against his will. These 2 battle servants were simply peerless beauties. He wanted to keep them in his bag. Puh! Before the middle-aged man could finish his sentence, a crisp sound of a slap resounded from his mouth. He spat out a mouthful of blood along with a mouthful of broken teeth. His entire body directly fell into the wall in front of him that revealed the 3 shadows. The wall directly shattered, and the 3 shadows disappeared. Half of the middle-aged man's body was smashed into the wall and was covered by the rubble. Bang! The ground trembled as if the earth was shaking. This sudden change caused the surrounding gazes to be unable to recover for a moment. Immediately after, numerous gazes fell on Ouyang Shuang, Dai Xingyu, Zhong Yuan, and Du Xiaofu. In the end, they fixed their gazes on Du Xiaofu. Du Xiaofu's faint aura fluctuated. It was obvious that he was the one who had just attacked. It's Shigua from the 4-winged demon snake clan. His cultivation is at the sage to be level, but he couldn't even withstand a single blow. Who was the one who attacked? He actually didn't put the 4-winged demon snake clan in his eyes. In an instant, the surroundings were in an uproar. Everyone knew that a great battle was unavoidable. The 4-winged demon snake clan wasn't to be trifled with. They didn't want to be implicated. Elder. The people following behind the middle-aged man were stunned for a moment. However, they immediately recovered from their shock. Someone hurriedly stepped forward to support the middle-aged man. "For you." A gloomy and cold gaze stared at Du Xiaofu. It was an old man behind the middle-aged man. His old face was withered, and his expression was feminine. He seemed to be in his twilight years. However, his whole body quietly froze at this moment. "You should also have some ideas about my woman. Let him understand himself. Then I'll let you go. Otherwise, you'll have to bear the consequences." Du Xiaofu glanced at the middle-aged man who was being supported and said to the old man, daring to have ideas about his woman. This was Du Xiaofu's bottom line. Du Xiaofu didn't intend to let go of the four-winged demon snake clan. Du Xiaofu wouldn't let go of anyone else. Even if it was someone else, Du Xiaofu wouldn't let go of them. However, at this moment, more and more onlookers were listening to Du Xiaofu's words. More and more onlookers were secretly trembling in their eyes. He had asked the four-winged demon snake clan's Shigua to take his own life. How much did he not put the four-winged demon snake clan in his eyes? Where did he come from? Was he a member of a super clan? Great ancestor, kill that boy. The middle-aged man opened his mouth. Blood was flowing out of his mouth. He looked very ferocious. His face was gloomy and filled with resentment. Sir, don't go too far. The feminine-looking old man was also secretly stunned. Then he stared at Du Xiaofu. A faint pressure spread out from his body as if he was warning Du Xiaofu. You want to threaten me with your holy beast middle stage cultivation? I'm afraid it's not enough. Du Xiaofu looked at the old man with a cold expression. Chapter 2379. Was this young man really at the Nirvana realm? His combat strength was comparable to a Nirvana realm expert at the peak of the Nirvana realm. His physical defense was absolutely abnormal for him to be able to withstand the attack that it did not hold back. Ming Jiao, take down this young man as soon as possible. Do it. A huge bird killed a human expert. Its voice was sharp and killing intent shot out from its eyes. It did not want to waste any time and flapped its wings to pounce on Du Xiaoba. Young man, don't blame me for being impolite if you don't hand over the phoenix true egg. The eyes of the Yu family's peak elders sank at the same time. He was even closer to Du Xiaoba, who was once again pushed back. His profound qi surged, and his figure cut through the air with the sound of wind breaking. He twisted the void with one hand and grabbed at Du Xiaoba fiercely. Roar! At the same time, the flood dragon's eyes sank. It had already lost face after missing its attack. It did not want the bird to make the first move and gain the upper hand, so it pounced on Du Xiaoba again with a terrifying aura. Du Xiaoba was in the sky, and his 9 divine rings were beginning to dim. 3 experts were pouncing on him at the same time. With his strength, it was difficult to deal with 1, let alone 3. All of them wanted to take him down first. However, Du Xiaoba was not afraid. On his delicate and handsome face, he grinned coldly and fiercely. The profound qi in his body burst out. He wanted to fight directly. Even if he died, he wanted to drag someone down with him to buy time for little Huang. Xiaoba, I'm coming. But at this moment, a young voice fell into Du Xiaoba's ears. Walala. At this moment, the sky suddenly became scorching hot as a terrifying blazing aura burned everything. 7 colored flames descended, causing the old man at the peak of the domain realm, the ferocious bird, and the serpent dragon to stop as they looked up at the sky. Even the human and beast experts who were fighting in the surroundings could not help but stop fighting. They all looked up at the sky because the terrifying blazing aura made their souls tremble. Everyone looked up and saw that the chaotic void had quietly become scorching hot. Golden light, 7-colored flame, and green light intertwined with each other. It was as if the sun was shining and the flames were rolling. Ah! In an instant, the old man at the peak of the domain realm, the flood dragon, and the ferocious bird that had attacked Du Xiaoba let out miserable shrieks. The 7-colored flames were like divine flames descending, scorching everything. In a short moment, they were all burned to ashes. Their cultivation was comparable to that of a half-saint. Their strength was definitely not ordinary. However, they were burned to ashes in an instant. Their bodies and souls were destroyed. Everyone couldn't help but suck in a breath of cold air and feel their hairs stand on end. Amidst the monstrous 7-colored flame, a soul-devouring divine ant appeared in front of Du Xiaoba's 1,000-feet-tall Buddha shadow. This soul-devouring divine ant was not large, only the size of a child. Its 8 wings were connected, and they were as thin as a cicada's wings. It was enveloped by 7-colored divine flames, and a 7-colored brilliance emanated from it. There was also a strand of golden light that flickered, releasing the supreme beast pressure of the Phoenix clan, accompanied by the domineering pressure of the golden-winged Great Pring clan. Boom. However, when such a soul-devouring divine ant appeared, the entire void trembled. Under the terrifying pressure, all the living beings present trembled, and some beasts prostrated themselves. The divine ant flapped its wings and soared into the sky. The seven-colored divine flames surrounded its body, and the supreme beast pressure swept across the sky, vast and mighty, shocking the world. Gee! The divine ant shrieked, like the cry of a phoenix and the cry of a sparrow. Supreme Ant Emperor! This is the legendary Supreme Ant Emperor. Those Saint Realm cultivators were all shocked at this moment. The legendary Supreme Ant Phoenix had really appeared. It's very strange. There are 3 supreme beast pressures. Some beasts were puzzled as they felt the aura of the Supreme Ant Emperor. This Supreme Ant Phoenix seemed to have the aura of the golden-winged Great Pring clan, the Phoenix clan, and the soul-devouring divine ant itself. Little Huang has stepped into the Saint Beast realm. Du Xiaoba's pale face revealed a pleasantly surprised smile as he looked at Du Xiaoba's Supreme Ant Emperor body in front of him. With the Supreme Ant Emperor body in the sky, Du Xiaoba flapped her wings and shook the heavens and earth, causing the world to boil and shaking the heavens. All the living beings in the surrounding void trembled. The Supreme Ant Phoenix was also a legendary existence in this fearsome land. In the legends, it had left behind endless legends and peerless demeanor. Yet now, a true exalted ant phoenix had appeared. This is the real Supreme Ant Phoenix. Many beasts were shocked. The terrifying pressure crushed the beast souls, and they couldn't help but prostrate themselves. She has just stepped into the Saint Realm. Quickly capture the Supreme Ant Emperor. The Phoenix True Egg is most likely in her hands. A human Saint Realm cultivator's eyes were blazing. His robes fluttered as he pounced toward Du Xiaoba. Accompanied by a hazy mist and runes, this human Saint Realm cultivator raised his hand, and a palm print rapidly enlarged, grabbing toward Du Xiaoba's body, forming a terrifying pressure. This palm was very powerful. The palm print expanded with the wind, covering a large area of the void as if it covered the sky and the sun. It was about to suppress Du Xiaoba amidst the rumbling sounds. Humph! Du Xiaohuang let out a deep snort, and a dazzling azure light gushed out from her body along with a golden brilliance. Her azure and golden eyes were like 2 rising suns in the sky, displaying a terrifying, profound meaning. Rumble! At the same time, Du Xiaoba's body clenched her antennae as if a fist was about to form. The sound of heaven suddenly rumbled. Above the void behind her, there were already 9 divine rings in the air, echoing with the fist, bursting out thousands of fist auras. The power of the Supreme Ant Phoenix. Du Xiaoba advanced instead of retreating. Her fist rushed out like the rising sun, colliding with the former's palm print. The two collided. Du Xiaoba's fist bloomed with astonishing profound meaning, faintly containing the domineering aura of the golden-winged great rocks and the power of the true phoenix. After a short pause, it directly shattered the former's palm print. Whoosh! Whoosh! In an instant, the palm of the Saint Realm cultivator who attacked was shattered. Then, broken flesh rushed out of his arm in an instant, and a bloody hole appeared on his shoulder. Finally, it spread all over his body. His body was completely shattered in an instant. This poor Saint Realm cultivator's eyes were naturally filled with horror. He felt the aura of death crazily surging out of his divine soul, but it was too late. Bang, bang, bang. Bang! This human Saint Realm cultivator's body and primordial spirit directly exploded. He was completely unable to resist the terrifying power. In the end, his body completely turned into a bloody mist in the void. A Saint Realm cultivator's divine soul was destroyed in one move. The surrounding space was silent for no reason, and countless people were stunned. Huff! Then everyone gasped. All the cultivators present were stunned. This was too terrifying. Such a supreme ant phoenix shocked everyone present. What a terrifying supreme ant phoenix! All the Saint Realm experts present here were shocked because they didn't dare act rashly against such an exalted ant phoenix. Didn't it just set foot in the Saint Realm? How could it kill a Saint Realm cultivator in one move? Someone said. Such a supreme ant phoenix made people unable to help but feel shocked. Du Xiaoba put away the Vajrabuddha shadow and the supreme nirvana force, stuffed a few precious medicines into his mouth, chewed like a demon beast, and went to Du Xiaowang's side. But at this moment, Du Xiaowang's eyes were even more dignified. She looked to the side as if she had sensed something. She transmitted her voice to Du Xiaoba, "There's a strong cultivator coming. Later, you find a way to escape first. I will find a way to escape. You go first. You're my sister. I have to take good care of you." Du Xiaoba transmitted his voice with a solemn expression. He knew that Du Xiaohuang was also so serious. The strong cultivator who came must have reached a terrifying level. He was the elder brother, so he naturally had to take good care of his sister. Don't show off. Your strength is not as good as mine. Besides, we don't know who's older. Du Xiaohuang said to Du Xiaoba. In terms of birth time, she was indeed older. I look older than you. That means I'm your elder brother, whether you admit it or not. Don't worry about me. You go first and find Uncle Xiaofu and Uncle Xiaoyao. Du Xiaoba said sternly. He knew that with Du Xiaowang's current strength and means, there was a great chance for her to escape. If she cared about him, the chance was too slim. Don't say any more. Anyway, we can't go there. Let's fight. Du Xiaohuang rolled her eyes at Du Xiaoba and said, "If we can escape this time, I will admit that you are my elder brother in the future." Du Xiaoba's pale face cracked into a grin. Relying on his ferocity, he stuffed a few more spiritual fruits into his mouth. As Du Xiaoba's voice fell, there was a vast aura in the void from the side. Many figures appeared above the void in an instant. The first one was an old man. His light was like stars and his eyes were bright. He glanced around and immediately fell on Du Xiaohuang and Du Xiaoba. Next to the old man, a tall man stood at a low altitude. His light red hair was filled with brilliance, and his eyes were as clear as the stars. Although the young man's aura had not reached the Saint Realm, it made the creatures around him feel an invisible pressure, and they trembled secretly. It's the Ji family. Lord Jitsong, that's Lord Jitsong. Among the humans, someone exclaimed in surprise. It was Jitsong of the Ji family, a famous expert. He had also come here. Boom! The space trembled slightly, and there was a fluctuation in the void not far away. More experts had arrived, and the fluctuation of their aura was definitely not an ordinary expert. The first one was an old man with a halo like a divine halo. His aura was powerful, and his eyes were like the sun. Next to the old man, there was a young man with a mysterious halo around him. He stood in the void like the son of a god, and the mysterious ancient aura that made people want to worship him. The aura that emanated from this figure was vast, as if a peerless beast had arrived. His eyes, in particular, were like two rotating stars. It was very terrifying. Lord Yao Yonghao of the Yao family, and Yao Tianwu, the young supreme of the Yao family. Someone among the humans could not help but exclaim again. The Yao family had also arrived. Swoosh! In the surrounding void, more and more experts broke through the void and appeared one after another. There were even a few Saint Realm cultivators. However, these saints stood behind the crowd and seemed to have sensed the aura of Yao Yonghao and Jitsong, and did not get close. Boom! Suddenly, above the void, an aura surged, setting off boundless spatial waves. There were dazzling runes intertwined, and a huge ferocious bird bobbed up and down in the void, stirring up the void. Rumble! The space trembled, and the aura soared into the sky. Waves of terrifying aura were released, shaking heaven and earth. Behind the huge ferocious bird, many more ferocious birds appeared. In particular, the ferocious bird at the front was daunting, and the experts present could not help but tremble in fear. It was extremely terrifying. It's Lord Xian Condor of the Gulan Heavenly Condor clan. Such a ferocious bird appeared in the sky, covering the sky and the sun. Its wings were incomparably huge, and its aura was sharp and ancient. It looked very terrifying. The appearance of the Xian Condor made Jitsang and Yao Yonghao secretly change their expressions. The Xian Condor was in the sky, and when its huge eyes opened and closed, there seemed to be lightning flashing. It was deafening as it stared at Du Xiaohuang and Du Xiaoba. There was a sound like a dragon's roar, and another figure appeared again. There was only one person who suddenly appeared, as if he had torn the void apart. His blood-red hair was scattered, as if flowing blood, and the light was dazzling, as if a blood-red flame was flowing. This figure was very strange. There was a pair of fleshy wings on the back of the humanoid figure, and they were also blood-red in color. There were waves of divine radiance and mysterious runes in the blood light. This figure was too powerful. His eyes emitted blood-red light, as if a surging sea of blood. It was incomparably vast. Blood Malevolent Patriarch, oh my God, he's here. Blood Malevolent Patriarch of the Ro Owl clan. Oh no, why is he here? Didn't they say that he might have fallen? Shoo, lower your voice. Blood Malevolent Patriarch is not to be trifled with. Even the patriarchs of the big clans of the Beast Alliance have to be wary of him. When such a humanoid creature appeared, the eyes of the experts of the beast race trembled, and they secretly felt a chill down their spines. Yao Yonghao and Jitsang's expressions turned even uglier, and even a little ugly and dignified. Blood Malevolent Patriarch actually appeared. They knew that even if the two of them joined forces, they would not be able to do anything to Blood Malevolent Patriarch, not to mention the Xian Condor of the Gulan Heavenly Condor clan. The battle strength of the Xian Condor alone was not inferior to theirs. Lord Blood Malevolent Patriarch. Xian Condor's ferocious eyes narrowed slightly as he looked at ancestor Shuemang. Even though he was an expert from the Gulan Heavenly Condor clan and a divine ancestor-level expert, he had no choice but to nod his head in acknowledgement. Unfortunately, Blood Malevolent Patriarch did not seem to care too much about Xian Condor's nod. He only glanced indifferently at Xian Condor before his blood-red eyes fixed on Du Xiaohuang and Du Xiaoba. The legendary Ant Emperor actually still has a bloodline. Could it have evolved? The Blood Malevolent ancestor looked at Du Xiaohuang with a puzzled expression. Then, a smile appeared on his face as his blood-red eyes rippled with passion. It seems that the phoenix true egg is in your hands. Are you coming with me, or do you need me to do it? Old thing, who do you think you are? Du Xiaohuang looked directly at Blood Malevolent Patriarch. She had seen all kinds of people. Although Blood Malevolent Patriarch's aura was terrifying, it was not enough to scare her. However, at this moment, Du Xiaohuang's green eyes were inwardly solemn. The aura of the Blood Mane Patriarch was much stronger than that of the Xian Condor and the few human Saint Realm experts. It was unlikely that they would be able to escape today. You're a little arrogant, but your initial Saint Beast level cultivation is far from enough. Blood Malevolent Patriarch said boldly. His voice was like a surging sea of blood, causing the surrounding living beings to tremble and feel uneasy. Boom! Boom! Blood Malevolent Patriarch immediately attacked without any hesitation. The pair of blood-red wings on his back did not move, but his figure was already moving forward. His technique was extraordinary. The blood-red light on his body turned into runes that filled the sky and condensed into a waterfall. It was like a blood-red thunderbolt that fell directly on the sovereign ant phoenix. The blood-red energy rushed in all directions. Gee! Du Xiaohuang's sovereign ant phoenix flapped her wings and let out a phoenix cry. The seven-colored divine fire on her body burned even more fiercely. She flapped her wings and directly resisted. The blood-red light and the seven-colored scarlet flame surged, shocking everyone. The surrounding void collapsed inch by inch. The seven-colored scarlet flame was obviously very strong, but it was immediately suppressed by the blood-red light. This blood-red light was too terrifying, too terrifying. Immediately, Du Xiaohuang's sovereign ant phoenix body fell from the void. Golden light and seven-colored flames flowed in the dazzling light on her body, but she could not help but spit out a mouthful of fire like blood from her mouth. Her body fell heavily to the ground. Bang! Du Xiaoba was also sent flying and fell beside Du Xiaohuang. He was only affected by the aftermath of the strong wind, but it was difficult for him to resist. He spat out blood and fell to the ground. So strong. Yao Yonghao, Jitsong, Shen Condor and the others were secretly shocked. Blood-malevolent patriarch lived up to his reputation. It was obvious that blood-malevolent patriarch had not used his full strength. He wanted to keep them alive. Old thing, what kind of ability is it to bully the young? If my father was here, he would definitely kill you. Du Xiaohuang flapped her wings and climbed up from the pile of rubble. Her eyes turned into 7 colors, the light on her body dimmed, and blood flowed. She stared at blood-malevolent patriarch and said, "Even if my sister, Uncle Xiaoyao, Aunt Xiaojing and Grandpa were here, they would definitely beat you up until your mother couldn't recognize you." Hearing this, everyone was secretly shocked. Even blood-malevolent patriarch, Shen Condor, Jitsong, Yao Yonghao and the other experts were no exception. This was a legendary Supreme Ant Emperor. If such a tiny Supreme Ant Emperor was already at the initial stage of the Saint Beast realm, then how powerful would its father, grandfather, sister, uncles, and aunts be? Could there really be so many sovereign ant emperors? Some of the experts present secretly guessed. They had never heard of the existence of sovereign ant emperors. If there really were sovereign ant emperors, then they would definitely be a terrifying race. If they touched this sovereign ant emperor today, the consequences would definitely be unimaginable. It's impossible for there to be another sovereign ant emperor. The birth of such a sovereign ant emperor might be a coincidence. It's an ancient species. But soon after, a living being expert said so. It was impossible for such a terrifying sovereign ant emperor to have a terrifying race. Otherwise, how terrifying would it be? Xiaohuang, you go first. Go find Uncle Xiaofu and Uncle Xiaoyao. Go find Sister Xingxing. Du Xiaoba crawled out with a pale face. He could see that the opponent's strength was not something they could contend against. Even Du Xiaohuang, who had already stepped into the early stage of the Saint Beast realm, was no match for it. You go first. I have a way to escape. Du Xiaohuang said to Du Xiaoba. At this moment, how could she not understand that Du Xiaoba was deliberately trying to delay the opponent, but with Du Xiaoba's cultivation and strength, he was no match for it. It was purely suicide. Hee, you still want to leave? Don't be delusional. None of you can escape. Blood-malevolent patriarch didn't think too much, but he was secretly stunned. He also didn't believe that there really was a sovereign ant emperor race. Chi-la, and at the same time as his voice fell, blood-malevolent patriarch waved his claw to tear the void, drawing a huge spatial mark above the vacuum, and instantly penetrated in front of Du Xiaohuang's body. Du Xiaohuang raised her eyes, and a dazzling 7-colored green light burst out from her body, like the sun. Her fierce eyes were also full of bright runes at this time. In the face of blood-malevolent patriarch's claw, Du Xiaohuang flapped her 8 wings together. The talisman runes on her 8 wings flashed as if they wanted to tear the space apart. Energy ripples visible to the naked eye spread out from the surroundings, with a light like golden lightning raging. It was like a golden-winged rock or a true phoenix was about to fly out. It made the densely packed experts around feel a sense of trembling in their veins and souls. You overestimate yourself. Ha! Blood-malevolent patriarch sneered. Under the terrifying claw, an invisible power of cultivation descended and directly suppressed Du Xiaohuang, leaving her no way out. The void was sealed, and she was imprisoned. In an instant, the claw tore through the vacuum and enveloped Du Xiaohuang's sovereign ant emperor body. The terrifying and fierce blood aura wanted to corrode everything. Du Xiaohuang's eyes were incomparably solemn, but there was also a trace of fear. At this moment, she clenched her teeth and a ruthless look flashed across her face. Even if she died, she absolutely could not fall into the hands of this old thing in front of her. You can't touch my niece. Suddenly, at this critical moment, a golden figure appeared in front of Du Xiaohuang in a ghostly manner. With a shake of his arm, golden light suddenly erupted. Like countless golden lightning serpents, they ruthlessly landed on the claw of blood-malevolent ancestor with a momentum that seemed to be able to push everything in its path. Boom! With a low muffled sound, the runes that filled the sky shattered, and a terrifying energy storm spread out in an arc in the air. Bang bang. The energy from Blood Malevolent Patriarch's claw dissipated, and the bloody aura swept out with a whistle. The claw was actually blocked. Dang dang. The newcomer's figure staggered back, and his foot stomped on the air. Soon after, he stabilized his body, but that was all. However, this scene was enough to shock all the experts in the surroundings. Everyone's gazes immediately landed on the person who had arrived, and all of them were stunned into a daze. After the figure in front of the sovereign ant emperor stabilized his body with a stomp on the air, a golden-clothed youth clearly appeared in front of everyone. He looked to be about 27 or 28 years old, and his facial features were as handsome as if they were carved by a knife. However, he seemed to have a wanton and unrestrained smile on his face at all times, and his entire person inexplicably emitted an awe-inspiring aura of a king. Chapter 2380. Translator, H2H2 Mr. At this moment, Du Xiaohuang and Du Xiaoba's gazes had already landed on the newcomer. Looking at the newcomer, Du Xiaohuang and Du Xiaoba's bodies couldn't help but tremble as if they had been electrocuted. Then, their originally solemn expressions were immediately replaced by pleasant surprise. The newcomer was a young man in golden robes. His golden hair fell over his shoulders, and he was thin yet tall. Under his thick eyebrows and under his long and dense eyelashes was a pair of dazzling golden eyes that seemed to be able to steal one's soul. He stumbled back a few steps, but his aura didn't change. However, it couldn't hide his outstanding and heroic bearing. He was born with the aura of a king overlooking the world, exuding a chaotic aura. His golden eyes were deep, giving people a sense of oppression. Uncle Xiaoyao. Du Xiaohuang and Du Xiaoba rushed up in pleasant surprise. At the same time, Du Xiaohuang's original body immediately retracted, returning to her harmless little girl appearance. She rushed excitedly in front of the young man in golden robes. At this moment, this young man in golden robes was none other than Du Xiaoyao. Niece, that sovereign ant queen really has an uncle. The surrounding experts, regardless of whether they were from the human race or the Beast Alliance, were all dumbfounded at this moment. So that sovereign ant queen really did have an uncle. Judging from the attack just now, he was indeed not someone to be trifled with. You two little things, are you all right? Du Xiaoyao glanced sideways at Du Xiaohuang and Du Xiaoba. There was a hint of blame in the depths of his golden eyes. However, when he saw their pale faces and the bloodstains at the corners of their mouths, he immediately felt his heart ache. He held out a few extraordinary pills and 2 spiritual fruits that were obviously at the level of divine medicine in his hands and directly handed them to the two. He said, "Quick, take these." The talisman engravings on the pills and the divine spirit fruit were accompanied by vigorous energy fluctuations. The medicinal fragrance assailed the nostrils, causing many eyes to burn with passion. However, no one dared to act rashly. Uncle Xiaoyao, we're fine. We won't die yet. Du Xiaohuang and Du Xiaoba didn't stand on ceremony. They were very happy and immediately stuffed the pills and spiritual herbs into their own mouths. With a cold snort, the blood malevolent patriarch made his move. He seemed to want to take the 2 sacred herbs and spiritual fruits for himself. A palm print filled with blood-red light moved the clouds in all directions. Half of the sky was dyed blood-red. The palm print was like a cloud that blotted out the sky. It came down from above and slammed heavily toward Du Xiaoyao. All of you back off. Du Xiaoyao shouted at Du Xiaoba and Du Xiaohuang. Her skin was sparkling and translucent, as if it was exuding a faint golden luster. In an instant, her golden spirit eyes glowed, and a terrifying aura erupted. She directly punched out. The golden light on her fist was so violent that it seemed to be able to suppress everything. Buzz buzz. A low and muffled bang exploded out as Du Xiaoyao's fist struck onto the former's palm, causing the palm to tremble without end. Buzzing sounds of wind and thunder resounded through the sky, and bloody baleful energy surged and fluctuated. But at this moment, the blood-malevolent patriarch had obviously used more strength than before. He didn't hold back anymore. Although the palm print of the blood-malevolent patriarch had loosened a little under Du Xiaoyao's punch, and some cracks appeared on it, they were immediately repaired by the murderous aura. But even so, the blood-malevolent patriarch's eyes were already trembling. He knew best how much strength he had used. An ordinary expert at the peak of the middle stage of the sacred beast realm would die without a doubt, and an expert who had just stepped into the late stage of the sacred beast realm would be severely injured even if they didn't die. However, the mysterious golden-robed young man in front of him had prevented him from achieving the effect he wanted. He couldn't help but be secretly shocked. "Old thing, do you think you can touch my sister just because you want to?" A slightly immature voice suddenly spread above the void. The voice wasn't loud, but it was clear enough to fall into the ears of every living expert present. The voice contained an invisible supreme pressure that made the divine souls of all living beings tremble. It was as deafening as a dragon's roar. Boom! A streak of golden flames shot out from the void, and a terrifying scorching energy swept through the sky above the formation. It carried with it a huge pressure, and it seemed to cause the entire space to tremble. It was a soul-shaking sight. Bang, bang, bang. The terrifying energy was accompanied by a mysterious force that caused the void to crumble inch by inch, and the surroundings to be torn apart by pitch-black spatial cracks. The scorching golden flames, accompanied by an extremely strong pressure, spread out. In an instant, the entire space trembled and roared, as if it could burn everything. It vaguely resembled a golden dragon soaring into the sky. It formed a joint attack with Du Xiaoyao's punch, and it collided heavily with the blood-malevolent patriarch's palm print. The majestic power of the golden flames spread out, and even the space was distorted, causing spatial cracks to ripple in the surrounding void. The aura of a supreme being. At this moment, the blood-malevolent patriarch's eyes suddenly changed. He seemed to have sensed something, and an inexplicable fear appeared in his eyes. His body couldn't help but tremble, as if it was an instinctive fear that had nothing to do with one's cultivation. It was an inexplicable natural suppression. Walala! As the golden flames fell on the blood-malevolent patriarch's palm print, the bloody aura spread out like a canopy in the sky. It immediately began to crack and dissipate, and then shattered. The dazzling light was covered, and it was silently obliterated. This is impossible. The blood-malevolent patriarch still hadn't recovered from his shock. His eyes were secretly shocked, as if he had seen the most unbelievable thing. He inexplicably felt that the newcomer's strength was inferior to his, but he didn't know why, but he just felt a sense of fear and reverence. However, that feeling was immediately suppressed by his own cultivation, and he wasn't affected too much. Sister Xingxing, sister. Sister Xingxing. At the same time, Du Xiaohuang and Du Xiaoba jumped up in joy and excitement. Before Du Xiaohuang and Du Xiaoba's voices fell, there was a fluctuation in the void. Many experts suddenly saw a small figure rush out of the crack in the void as fast as lightning. A clear and slightly immature voice sounded again, "Are the two of you okay?" When the voice sounded, the figure had already appeared. It was a young girl who appeared to be in her teens. On her young and tender face, there was a pair of eyes that did not match those of her age. There was a kind of demonic aura about them. She wore a red dress surrounded by star patterns. At this moment, there was a faint golden brilliance in the depths of her eye-catching demonic eyes, and there was a supreme, overbearing aura. However, when she saw Du Xiaohuang and Du Xiaoba's pale faces and bleeding lips, her demonic eyes immediately darkened. This little girl was little Xingxing. She accidentally received news of Du Xiaohuang and Du Xiaoba and found this place at the first moment. Sister Xingxing, we're fine. Why you here? Joy appeared on Du Xiaohuang's face as she excitedly pounced in front of little Xingxing. Oh my God, this sovereign ant emperor has an elder sister. Is there really a clan? The experts in the surroundings were already a little dumbfounded. From the situation of fighting with Ancestor Xuedi just now, this little girl was definitely a powerful person. Tell me who hurt you. Little Xingxing waved his sleeve and wiped the blood at the corner of Du Xiaohuang's mouth. It's that old fellow bullying the young. Du Xiaohuang pointed at Ancestor Shui Di and fiercely glared at him. Then, she looked at the experts in the surroundings and said to little Xingxing, "And these guys, they don't have good intentions. I almost couldn't see my elder sister again. It's okay. With me here, no one can bully my younger sister." Little Xingxing said softly as he wiped the blood at the corner of Du Xiaohuang's mouth. His face was still young, but at this moment, there was a kind of old age and maturity. Du Xiaohuang nodded forcefully, looking a little wronged. She was completely different from the fierce person just now, as if she was really as harmless as she looked. "You're the one who hurt my younger sister?" After little Xingxing nodded at Du Xiaoyao, his gaze swept across the surroundings and was already fixed on Ancestor Shui Di. Faint golden flames surged in his eyes, adding to his demonic look. "Who are you?" Ancestor Shui Di had been secretly sizing up Du Xiaoyao and little Xingxing. From the fight just now, he was very clear that these two young lords were extremely extraordinary, which made it difficult for him to see through them. After Du Xiaoyao nodded at little Xingxing, her golden spirit eyes swept over Ancestor Shui Di. Golden light surged on her body as she cursed, "It's your grandpa. Old thing, how dare you hurt my younger sister? You're tired of living." Little Xingxing stared at Ancestor Shui Di. How could he let him off so easily after seriously injuring his younger sister? "Do you think that 2 inexperienced juniors like you are enough? 2 more people coming to die. I'll just kill 2 more today." Being called an old thing by 2 juniors, Ancestor Shui Di's face turned gloomy. The blood aura on his body surged, and the flesh wings on his back trembled. However, when Ancestor Shui Di's voice fell, he suddenly raised his eyes and looked at the void to his left, as if he had sensed something. Crash. Above the void to his left, there was a quiet spatial fluctuation. Then, a graceful and beautiful figure quietly appeared in the void. Although she had appeared without a sound, there seemed to be an invisible light that would not be drowned out. It was a charming young woman. As she appeared, her beautiful figure stood quietly. Her green dress fluttered in the wind, and her long black hair poured down behind her head. She was as otherworldly as an immortal, and also extraordinary and proud of the world. This woman seems to be very similar to the Rock Emperor, but she's not. When the otherworldly woman's figure floated in the air, looking at her beautiful face, the Yao family, Ji family, and other human race people immediately whispered in surprise. Chapter 2381. Yao Yonghao and Ji Zong also found it strange. Back then, they were also in front of the divine palace and witnessed everything that was enough to shock the world. Now that they saw the woman in the void before them, they were secretly astonished. That beautiful woman actually looked very similar to the young man who called himself the Great Rock Emperor. "It's Aunt Xiaojing." Aunt Xiaojing. When they saw the extraordinary woman, Du Xiaohuang and Du Xiaoba were stunned for a moment before their faces lit up with joy. The space rippled again. From the right, 3 figures tore through the space and descended like lightning. The space rippled as the 3 figures appeared. 3 extremely powerful auras spread out from the sky, causing everyone's soul to tremble. In a short instant, 3 figures strangely appeared in the air, causing the entire area to tremble. The one in front of the 3 figures was a burly man in his 50s. He looked extremely young and had a somewhat wretched face no matter how one looked at it. However, there was a charm that was impossible to appear on such a wretched face. On the left was a young man in a blue and white robe. His figure was tall and straight, giving off the feeling of a ferocious beast. On the right was a black-robed young man with sharp eyes. His figure was slender and his head was slightly lowered. His bangs covered his forehead and covered his eyes. Under everyone's gazes, the black-robed young man slowly raised his head. Under his bangs, his eyes were piercingly cold and sharp. He had a high nose bridge and thin lips that were filled with arrogance. His gaze fell on Du Xiaoyao, little Xingxing, and Du Xiaohuang, and he nodded slightly. When they saw the 3 figures appear again, Du Xiaohuang and Du Xiaoba's faces, which were already filled with joy, were stunned. Then they were filled with joy. "It's Uncle Qingchun." "Uncle!" Uncle Yi Piaoling and Uncle Chenguyu. Du Xiaoba and Du Xiaohuang were overjoyed. The three people who came were Zhen Qingchun, the leader of the 18 celestial guards, Yi Piaoling and Chenguyu. They were the only two of the 18 celestial guards who had entered this fearsome ground. Zhen Qingchun nodded at Du Xiaoyao and little Xingxing. His gaze swept across Du Xiaohuang and Du Xiaoba, then swept across the surrounding creatures. His wretched face then turned cold. Boom! As the three figures appeared, the space rippled again. Two figures appeared. One was a middle-aged man, and the other was an old man. The middle-aged man's long hair fluttered in the wind, and his long robe fluttered in the wind. His entire body was wrapped in faint lightning. He had a resolute face, long eyebrows and thick and long eyelashes, which softened his originally firm and powerful features. He was handsome and upright. "Grandpa!" When the middle-aged man appeared, Du Xiaohuang was pleasantly surprised. She immediately pounced on him, and her tender voice echoed in the void. "Grandpa! Father!" Little Xingxing and Du Xiaojing stepped forward. Du Xiaoyao, Zhen Qingchun, Yi Piaoling, and Changguyu nodded. This middle-aged man was none other than the Thunder Warlord, Du Tingxian. The old man was none other than Elder Lei, who had followed him into the danger zone. "This is really a big family. Oh my God, we've really provoked a family." When such figures descended, the surrounding living beings were shocked one after another. Then they were completely dumbfounded. Who would have thought that this encirclement of a single supreme ant emperor would actually result in the appearance of a whole family? If the entire family of a young supreme ant emperor was already this frightening, how could the strength of this entire family be any weaker than the grandpa, auntie, and Uncle Lin Fan? Ji Tsang, Yao Yonghao, Shen Condor, and even blood malevolent forefather had ripples in their eyes. The descending figures all had complicated auras, especially the golden-clothed young man, the little girl, the extraordinarily beautiful woman, and the tall middle-aged man. They all felt that they were unfathomable. "Don't worry, Grandpa is here." Du Tingxian squatted down and stroked the little girl's face. His handsome face revealed a smile. "Is the whole family here?" Blood malevolent forefather's face was gloomy. His blood aura fluctuated slowly as he glanced at little Xingxing, Du Tingxian, Zhen Qingchun, and the others. With his cultivation and strength, there were not many people in the entire Beast Alliance and the human race who could make him wary. Although he felt that something was amiss, he didn't pay much attention to it. "Xiaojing, little Yao, little Xingxing, you three deal with that old man. Leave the rest to us." Du Tingxian stood up and pulled Du Xiaohuang and Du Xiaoba behind him. He glanced at the surroundings and swept his gaze across Blood Deer, Shen Condor, Yao Yonghao, Ji Tsang, and the others. His handsome face that had just revealed a smile was now filled with deep lightning and killing intent. However, his emotions remained the same, as firm as a rock. "No problem." Du Xiaoyao, little Xingxing, and Du Xiaojing nodded. Sensing the aura of blood malevolent forefather, the three of them wore cold expressions and didn't dare to be careless. This strange humanoid creature in front of them was extraordinary. Du Tingxian nodded. His body was straight like a long spear, straight and fierce. When his calm voice faded, his eyes that were filled with killing intent gradually sharpened and began to fluctuate with lightning. "Buzz!" Yi Piaoling waved her arm and a long sword appeared in her hand. Her eyes began to emit a biting cold sharpness. Chengguyu's long robe fluttered. With a long spear in his hand, his aura surged like that of a ferocious beast. Zhen Qingchuan's body fluctuated with killing intent. On his wretched face, a cold light flashed in his eyes. Sensing the aura fluctuations from these figures, the surrounding experts were secretly shocked. Yao Yonghao, Ji Tsang, and the rest of the human clan experts were also secretly shocked. These mysterious newcomers seemed to have included them as well. They didn't even put the experts present in their eyes. "Du Xiaohuang, Du Xiaoba, you little bastards should know your mistakes." Just as the great battle was about to break out, a voice came from the depths of the void. The voice came from afar, as if it had seeped out from the void. As soon as this voice spread, little Xingxing, Du Xiaoyao, Du Xiaojing, Du Tingxian, Jin Qingchun, Yi Piaoling, Qingguyu, and Elder Lei all had strange smiles on their faces. As for Du Xiaohuang and Du Xiaoba, they were subconsciously a little stunned, like children who had made a mistake. However, in the next instant, the most ecstatic expression surged onto their two young faces. Hearing this voice, the blood-malevolent patriarch's expression changed immediately. He didn't sense anyone approaching. Judging from the expression of the Ant Emperor, it seemed to be someone from his family. While everyone was shocked, a crack seemed to have been torn open in the void. A figure quietly stepped out of the crack. It was a young man who seemed to be in his late 20s. His long black hair fluttered in the wind. His face was resolute and determined. His figure was slightly thin but tall. There was no aura around him, but the appearance of this figure caused the surrounding void to tremble slightly for no reason. "Father! Uncle Xiaofu!" The young voices were filled with unconcealable ecstasy. Two small figures soared into the sky and rushed toward the purple-robed young man like lightning. Du Xiaohuang opened her arms and threw herself into the young man's embrace. At this moment, the purple-robed young man was Du Xiaofu, who came to the Sky Flame Death Valley. After receiving news about Du Xiaohuang and Du Xiaoba, he searched for them and finally arrived here. "It's him, the Rock Emperor. How could it be him? He's really not dead." When Du Xiaofu appeared, the Ji family, Yao family, and many of the human race experts present suddenly looked at each other in shock. Yao Tianwu and Ji Qianxing's eyes trembled. Back then, in front of the holy shrine, a young man like that had shaken the entire human race. How could they forget his peerless demeanor and supreme bearing? It was imprinted in their hearts, impossible to forget. "Little brat, why don't you listen?" On Du Xiaofu's tensed face, he opened his arms and hugged the little figure when he saw it pouncing towards him. However, when he saw the little figure's tender yet deathly pale face and sensed the weak aura, he immediately swallowed his reprimanding words. The tensed expression on his face was instantly replaced by an incomparable heartache. Uncle Xiaofu. Du Xiaoba came to Du Xiaofu's side. He was not afraid of anything. Besides his master, Jialo Juoyu, the person in front of him was the person he was most afraid of. But this kind of fear was more of reverence. "Are you okay?" Du Xiaofu hugged Du Xiaohuang with one hand and wiped the traces of blood on the corner of Du Xiaoba's mouth with the other hand. He didn't blame him anymore, but was full of heartache. "Uncle Xiaofu, I'm fine." Du Xiaoba smiled. Seeing that Du Xiaofu didn't blame him, he was relieved. "Father, it's them. They bullied me and brother Xiaoba. If it wasn't for Uncle Xiaoyao, I'm afraid you wouldn't be able to see your daughter again." Du Xiaohuang's gaze swept across Shuiwei Ancestor, Xian Condor, and the others. She looked very wronged. Seeing Du Xiaoyao, Little Xingxing, and Du Xiaojing, she was pleasantly surprised. But at this moment in front of her father, she felt wronged, like a child who was bullied outside. She was about to cry. "Father knows." Du Xiaofu wiped away the tears on that harmless face. At this moment, his heart was about to melt, and he felt incomparable heartache. "It's really a family. That young man is the sovereign Ant Emperor's father." Everyone was stunned, unable to regain their senses, especially some experts of the human race. They knew Du Xiaofu, but at this moment, they were even more dumbfounded. The Rock Emperor was actually the sovereign Ant Emperor's father. This made them completely unable to understand. "Father! Brother!" Xiaofu. Little Xingxing, Du Xiaojing, Jin Qingchun, and the others stepped forward. "Greetings, Rock Emperor." Yi Piaoling and Qingguyu bowed. Seeing the figures in front of him, Du Xiaofu's face burst into a smile again. "Rock Emperor, he's the Rock Emperor." You're tuning in to the Passion Pages YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.